What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode on the Unlearned Wisdom podcast with yours truly, Johnny Chang, where each episode is a gospel-centered lesson that you could apply to your life today. And today, it's episode 38. We have a very, very special guest. I'm gonna actually let him introduce himself a little bit. He's Brendan, or actually go ahead.
Absolutely. My name's Brendan. I run Santa Cruz Medicinals. Gone kind of viral in the health world for giving health advice, doing various things. And yeah, I'm stoked to be here. I think today people are going to get a lot of valuable info that they can take directly from here and start improving their health, which I think is also a big thing that ties directly in with faith.
Facts.
And that's what I'm trying to get more people to listen to, is faith and health go directly hand in hand, like your relationship with God and your relationship with your health. They're not some separate thing. They are one thing. And I'm going to have some questions for you on how that ties into the Bible. I've looked a bit into it, but you're the expert there. And yeah, this episode's going to have a lot of valuable stuff.
And I've actually known Brendan since like the sixth grade. I was in sixth grade. Yeah, we've known each other since middle school.
Yep.
So this is a cool life circle moment that many years later.
It's so wild linking back up with you here. Like right before the episode started, I was about to be like, isn't this crazy? We're here. Like, I mean, I've known Jeremy for so long. Like,
I've known him before he was locked in.
Absolutely. So way before I was locked in. And we'll get into like
he almost got locked up.
I did actually. I did a night, one night.
Oh, nice.
Hey, I've done a night, Johnny.
We could take prison pictures now.
Yeah, let's go. We can take prison
13
pictures.
13 years, 24 hours.
Yep. Yeah. Actually, it was for like I had a fake ID and I was out at the bars drinking, probably trying to find you at some bar like there. Like you were there too.
Don't wrap me into the story.
You were there too. I know he was. And a cop, gets me and he's like, he basically finds the ID. But the fake ID was so good, it was my friend's ID that he identifies. He's like, this is you, right? And I'm like, no, that's not me. That's just my friend's ID. And the funniest thing is I was already trying to be healthy at this point. And he reached into my pocket. Oh, this is actually perfect. In my pocket right now. We're going to go eat later. Yeah. I have vitamins in my pocket. Boom. I have pre-feast. I have pre-feast enzyme.
Time out. You guys saw him pull that out? It wasn't even wrapped in a napkin. Not in a
No, we don't need that. A microplastic napkin? No. So I have vitamins in my pocket because I was trying to balance drinking with my friends at this point. I was 20 and being healthy. And he goes, "What is this?" And I go, "That's vitamin C and activated charcoal." And he goes, "We'll see about that."
Sure, buddy.
Yeah. And so he starts to test it, and he realizes it's not whatever he thought it was. Yeah. And he was kind of embarrassed by that, I feel like. And he booked me for felony false impersonation. Not I've never... and
So not a misdemeanor, but
not a misdemeanor.
Felony.
I get taken there, and I go, okay, this is going to be nothing. I'm going to call my mom, call my dad. And there's 2 sections at the Santa Clara County Jail. Yeah. And I go in there and they bring me into the felony section. I go, what's going on? What is happening right now? I have a fake ID. And they go, yeah, felony false impersonation. I go, what? And so I get there and it was the whole process. I get, they give me the toothbrush and they give me the slippers and everything. And I go in there and I immediately give it to somebody. I'm like, I'm not going to be here for long. And I did eventually get bailed out. My parents were so just devastated. And the whole case got dropped. Yeah, whole case got dropped. We got a lawyer. The lawyer said you could pursue
I was about to say, did you sue back?
We didn't. My parents, no, we're not trying to waste our money.
You could have been in a Lambo.
I know. I know.
Hey, but maybe that wouldn't have, if you got all comfortable because you won a $10 million lawsuit, you wouldn't be the man you are today.
There we go.
Be locked in.
Yeah, it was a blessing in disguise.
Facts.
Yeah.
Sheesh. Must be nice.
Yeah. All right, so this whole episode is mind, body, soul. So lock in. Absolutely. Okay? Put down the hot Cheetos. Put them down. Put down the soda.
No
pick up a glass of water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But the first question, it's funny we talk about prison. What was your health regimen in prison? And then I want you to grade if Johnny was locked in.
So 5 a.m.
He was locked in.
5 a.m. get up every morning, and we do 10 by 10. So 10 by 10 by 10s. That's 10 push-ups, 10 sit-ups, 10 squats. And we do 10 sets of that. Mm-hmm. And that's just the warm-up. And then throughout the day, I do that 3 or 4 times.
Jeez.
So, we'd be, and then we'd mix in burpees, just depending on the roll call, depending on, what the people want, and what prison you're at. And we'd wake up, we'd eat breakfast. Certain days it would be grand slam breakfast. Other days it's commissary, right? Yeah. So, I would just eat commissary. I would not really eat any of the the chow food because it was just nasty.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
just nasty. But
What were you eating commissary, buddy?
it was bad.
Yeah,
so
I've
we
seen
would
some of
make
those
spread.
prison recipes on like TikTok and stuff. People like
Yeah.
recreating them. It is.
Yeah, it's horrible.
bad.
Yeah, we would do. It was a lot of Cheetos, a lot of pork rinds, a lot
Yeah.
of ramen, like Kool-Aid for seasoning. I mean, all kinds
Red
of
40
stuff.
seasoning.
Yeah, it was good. I ain't gonna lie, but it made us crazy. And yeah, that's the one thing most prisoners have control over is the sleep schedule and workout.
Yeah.
So everything else, obviously, you're told where to pee, where to poop, and whatever. But that's the one thing that you can control.
Wow.
So for us, I was the most in shape I've ever been in prison because that's the one thing I could control.
You know the crazy thing about that is it sounds like your circadian rhythm was like super dialed in. Like you're
100%.
getting up early.
No, 100%.
It's hey, lights off at this time.
Yeah.
We just had an MD on the podcast yesterday, and we've had a few people in that have talked about this. There's this whole thing of circadian biology, and I don't think people are realizing how important it is.
100%.
You're talking an MD yesterday who's like, well, you know, he gives people even like peptides and testosterone, and he's super dialed in. He's like, no. The most important thing is limiting blue light exposure at night and having a normal circadian biology, which we don't have anymore. Wow. So like artificial light is blue light.
I'm
Blue-
sorry. We should have replaced these. Adam,
Oh yeah,
turn
I was
them
gonna
down.
reschedule
man.
the podcast earlier in the day so I could keep my circadian rhythm dialed in. So blue light is not necessarily like really bad during the day, and all these spectrums of light are emitted from the sun. But we are circadian beings, like we have a circadian biology. Yeah. And the problem nowadays is we are looking directly into our phones at night, directly into our TV at night. One thing people can do right now watching this is get those blue blockers.
Those really help?
They have to be orange tinted. There's a bunch of scam companies now selling like clear ones. No, they have to be orange tinted, and you want to wear them at night. You don't really want to wear them during the day.
The minute the sun goes down, throw those on.
Absolutely. And like when I'm watching Netflix with my wife, I will throw those on, you know, and
Dang.
they do help.
One time, so I have like flux on my computer that changes it, tints it a little bit. And I was like editing this photo, and I was like, this looks so bad. And I kept trying to edit it, and then I realized,
orange, yeah.
I realized I had the tint on, and I was like, oh my god, I wasted
there's-
2 hours.
All that stuff helps so much. So yeah, flux on the computer, and then like on your phone, you can just look up like how to turn your phone like that. And so like, you know, when sun sets, like we haven't evolved to get blue light into our eyes, blasted into our eyes. And so it makes your melatonin basically go down, and melatonin has tremendous antioxidant effects, obviously makes you sleepy. So that starts to mess with your testosterone. When all that stuff, it just throws your body off. It's wild.
Wow. When we visited prison, the thing that I noticed is these people are saying they're 40, 45, however old they are, and they've been in prison for 20 years. Very sad, but like physically, their skin is pristine. They look young. They're all jacked.
Like if you're working out and your circadian biology is really dialed in, that's going to be a huge health benefit. Now,
100%.
the diet sounds absolutely horrible.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like
horrible.
it really sounds like bad. I don't know. I've thought about before, like I can never go to prison. I don't know, I would be done, like in terms of the diet. But yeah, it just shows you how much just dialing in your circadian rhythm and working out can do.
Yeah,
So-
you get a lot of sleep in there. Like that's the one thing. You could work out a lot. People do like 1,000 burpees a day, and you need like obviously rest because it's not just working out that builds the muscle. It's the rest that obviously. So they rest, and I'll notice that like people will go in there sucked up 125 pounds soaking wet, and within like a year and a half, they're like 40, 50 pounds of muscle.
For sure.
They're just huge, and you're like, what the heck? And you'll notice they sleep all day.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's
Sleep
pretty
is
cool.
the most important thing for health. And I like, we can get into some of the faith stuff because as someone who's super dialed in, I can't lie if I would say there's nights where I've lied there. Just, you know, we'll get into it of just like, sometimes there's a piece missing that no health thing can hack, you know? And
Let's get into it. So explain.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Like, you know, one of your posts recently, like really, really spoke to me. So much so it was like one of those ones I have to like put down my phone, you know, like show it to my wife later. I'm like, damn, like, and it was a post of you where you're with like all your homies. You're like, once we get our revenge, I'll feel good. Once I make this amount of money per month, I'll feel good.
Yeah.
And wow, I've fell into that so much in an unbelievable way. We're both from the same place. You're supposed to work in tech or become a lawyer, and you are supposed to make it for your family who sacrificed to get there to put you in a good school. Now, the place we grew up is probably a bit different, but that's really what it was like for most people we grew up with. I sacrificed to get you here. I'm spending all my money or working a bunch to be here for you. you better figure it out. And I'm sure coming from an Asian household, there's even more of that. My mom's Indian, so there's a lot of that. And, you know, my dad was like, he had a lot of success. You know, he completely self-made. And so there was like a lot of pressure on me to make it. And so I feel like I got into this like loop of trying to prove to my parents, to other people, that I'm going to make it. Like, I'm going to do well. And I had a rough 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, 22 years old, all the way till then. And I saw other people starting to just like do better than me.
What were the things you went through at that age?
Absolutely. I mean, basically, when I was younger, like 13, 14, 15, my brother went through tons of issues, which, you know, we were talking about it down there. And my parents sent him away to like a wilderness camp, basically. And I just like lost my brother. Like I didn't have that like relationship with him. And so that messed me up a little bit, I feel like. And I feel like I was kind of looking maybe for that older brother, because in high school, I started to hang out with just, you know, sort of like the wrong people. These aren't bad people.
Just degenerates.
Yeah, just degenerates.
What's the Johnny types?
A lot of them are your friends too, man.
They were
Jeremy
degenerates.
types.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Jeremy types.
No, because even then I saw my friends going down a path. You were hanging out with more of my friends that were doing the really bad stuff, and we'll just say it, like, kids were getting into pharmaceuticals. They would drink during the day at school, and this is like
how old are these kids?
16, 17,
What?
16, 17 years old. So
Jeez.
basically, and okay, to be fair to us, this was like the beginning of like the opioid crisis in the United States. Like, we're old. So I started hanging out with this girl, and she had just like bags of like opioids, of Oxy.
Yeah.
And this is maybe like a cop out for me, but it's not. You'll understand what I'm saying. Yeah. To be fair, I just viewed it as partying. We didn't have like all the same info that I feel like is out there today on this stuff. So I would view it as like, oh, let's like skip class. We'll have a few beers, and with that goes like some Oxy. It wasn't like, I viewed it as we're partying right now.
Right.
And it led me down a horrible path. I didn't even realize a lot of it at the time. I just thought, no, I'd party, you know, and the health effects take a little while to really grasp you.
Of course, yeah.
And you don't even realize at that young of an age, you're like, I'm developing a bit of an addiction to these.
Dude, they're not even 18 at this point.
That's wild.
Yeah,
bro.
like I couldn't. Yeah, now I meet 16-year-olds that run up to me, and I'm like, I could not imagine. Like,
Yeah.
what? And what basically happened is, we both know two people close to us that passed away. This one girl, Sarah Riojas, and then one of your really good friends, and a friend of mine, Tommy Kramer. And when they passed away, especially when Tommy did, that was when Sarah did and when Tommy did. Like, it was very close to each other. They were dating, and I get a call one day that Sarah had died right down the street from me, and yeah, just like broke me, and it was horrible. And then not long after that, I get another call. Tommy's dead. Dang. And, you know, like a couple nights before that, I was like out drinking with Tommy at like the Nut House. And like, I definitely viewed him as kind of like the older brother type that I was like looking for. And after Sarah's death is really when I started to quit a lot of the stuff. Her mom did an open casket funeral, and she basically gave this like kind of speech at her funeral, like, look, like this is the reality. She was like,
wow.
She did the open casket to kind of show people like, this is what happens.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it got me to sort of stop the stuff. And then when Tommy died, I basically left the stuff forever. And thank God I did. Like, I still like drank a little bit, like smoked weed and stuff. But I left that stuff. But yeah, that was brutal. And something I love I don't mind talking about it, because like people think of me as some like health guy. You have perfect health. Like you have everything good. It's like, you know, I lived a blessed life, but like there's been some struggle.
So that clip that you're watching, so you had a very difficult upbringing, and you had this pressure that you wanted to do well for your family because of being in somewhere.
I felt like I was a fuck up to them.
Yeah. So then, but now technically you are successful. You've
Absolutely.
made it, but you're what has been the struggle? Like,
I kept on setting goals for myself. That thing of when you're like starting to ball out, you're like, oh, if I make $40,000 a month,
right.
I would set these little numbers in my head. When I make $50,000 a month, I'm gonna be happy.
Yeah.
That's when I'll be good.
Yeah.
I make more than that now.
Yeah.
And years ago, it was like, I was like, something is missing. Something is missing, and there's something, and I've tried to fill that whole, I went down to the jungle with my wife. I did ayahuasca. I've done shroom trips and stuff. And nothing really quite filled that hole. And I grew up going to church. My parents brought me to church. And then when I was probably 14, 15 in this era, I rebelled against it. No, I'm not going to church. No way. You know what I mean? Yeah. And then I got really analytical and scientific. I'm going to believe in science. Yeah. Right? I want to know the truth. There's no way a guy could have risen from the dead. Yeah. and you hear these stories about Jesus, and it's actually frustrating for a lot of people because they want to say, "No, I have an analytical mind. What are you talking about? There's no way this stuff could have happened." And what brought me back into my faith is actually listening to Wesley Huff. So I started listening to a lot of his stuff because then I ended up going to UC Santa Cruz, getting my degree in anthropology, and studying any type of history or anthropology. You are surrounded by religion. Yeah. You can't study the history of Homo sapiens without being surrounded by it.
Facts.
It goes one in one.
Yep.
So that's when I started asking questions of how is this possible? How are there so many different stories of Jesus? Turns out there's actually no credible historians that think that Jesus did not exist. Right. Everybody agrees that he existed. Yeah. And so it got me kind of thinking, and then you listen to some of the Wesley Huff stuff where he ties in stories from all over the world, different people telling the same story from different times, different New Testament writings that they've found, and you're like, okay, wow, like there's so much truth here. So that kind of brought me back into it.
That's facts.
What would you say has been kind of like it's not always just like an uphill. It's like, oh yeah, I found Jesus again and I'm peaceful. So like, what has been early struggles for you, or what has been your early struggles with faith?
I mean, there's a lot of struggles, man. I feel like I'm still in struggle. I've just found a lot more peace through the Bible, through trying to apply things I read from the Bible to my life. But I still fell into like this just, like I bought a bunch of Bibles, bro. I'm like, oh, like I'm going to get back into like opening. So I bought like a bunch, and I had to kind of like scale back, and stuff like that you put out is super helpful because I don't understand the Bible fully. Right. And I will open it up and read it. But to say that what gets me more like use is going on ChatGPT and going like, hey, tell me a Bible verse of the day. Okay, can you explain this to me? How can you apply this to life? Because like a lot of this stuff is just pretty difficult to apply to my life. So that's kind of where I'm at now, is trying to really figure out how to apply some of these lessons that are there.
Yeah. We're hiring, guys. Core of the Heart is hiring, but listen carefully.
We're not just building a company, we're building one of the fastest growing Christian communities in the world. In just a year and a half, this community has grown to over 3 million strong, and we're nowhere near done.
Our mission is simple but massive: to build the best tools and resources to help anyone in the world get closer to God.
Our first immediate goal is to get 100 million people into heaven. So when we say we're hiring, understand this. We're not looking for employees. We're looking for mission-driven A players that want to change the world.
Our criteria is simple. Don't show us what you could do. Show us what you've already mastered. Like if you want to be the short form editor, show me the millions of views you've gotten on short form. If you want to be the podcast producer, show me the shows that you've successfully produced. We've learned the hard way not to hire off potential. We just want to hire off of pure experience. People who have already proven that they can perform at their skill set at the highest level.
We have jobs available in many different departments: media and content, live events, and marketing. We also have remote jobs and LA-based jobs available. If you're an A player that has mastered their craft and wants to do something that glorifies God, then please head to the link in our description and check out the job board.
And lastly, if you're an absolute beast at something and you don't see it on the job board, please reach out. I mean, you might be able to do it for us. It might work out. So if you're amazing at something, you don't see the perfect job description, just reach out. Tell us what you're good at. Maybe it'll work.
Genuinely, I can't do this without a team. So I'm very thankful for anyone who supports the mission. I look forward to hearing from you guys.
What advice would you give them?
Read to accept and just pace yourself, right? And then with every line, look for Jesus in it. Has really helped me. Yeah. I've read the Bible front to back 26 times now, and I also have a GED education. I read King James Version, thee, thou, arts, all that stuff, right? But when I was able to just sit there and go, I'm going to see where Jesus is in everything, you start to get all these unlocks. And then it makes it very applicable to your life. It's like, oh, okay, I'm King Saul, but I'm also Bathsheba, and I'm also all of these people. God is recording this for a reason. It's like to speak to our hearts. So if you look at the Bible as like a mirror to your heart, honestly, it gives you a lot of unlocks, and it just makes it very practical.
Yeah.
I think people tend to just naturally, especially analytical people, overcomplicate. Like it's like this analysis paralysis type of thing, right?
For sure.
It's like, what does this mean? Okay, so you're out of your Bible now, you're Googling this scripture to then find the mate scripture to then explain this, and it's just like, it's just too much.
Yeah.
Right? For anyone who's a new baby Christian, it's just better to just read and keep on reading. And it's kind of like faith comes by hearing the word of God, it says in the Bible. So if you keep on hearing and reading, you start to get unlocks. It's just how it is.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times too, and this was my struggle early on, is like when you hear him talk, like you said, you meet somebody like him and you're like, dude, he's got all these unlocks and he understands it so well. I want that. So you start to read the Bible, and again, it's hard to understand. It could be boring. And you're trying to sit, for me, I was trying to sit there to find, okay, like how do I unlock peace for myself? Or how do I get these, like everybody talks about these experiences that they have with God speaking to them. How do I get that? And then as soon as he explained that to me, once I let go of the idea of I need to learn something every time I read the Bible, it's really weird. I still don't understand a lot of it, but they're like randomly little verses will start to come up in my head or something that he'll tell me. And I'm like, oh, this is it. It's not this rigid thing where it's like, you know, I want to be a karate master and I'm chopping like 1,000 pieces of wood every single day. It's really like a relationship thing where it's like you read a little bit, you have a conversation with God, prayer, and then over time, like your thoughts get replaced with, instead of your own thoughts, you start to remember
The word
things
of
from the
God.
Bible. Yeah.
Aaron had a good point last time where he was saying, like, he used an analogy of like a person chasing a butterfly all day trying to catch it, and then when they finally rest under the tree just because they're exhausted, the butterfly like lands on their nose.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with scripture, right? You're sitting there, you're like, okay, I got to get this unlocked. God, what are you trying to say to me today? And then it's just nothing, right? Because what happens is that trains like a transactional mind where it's like every time I open the Bible, God, you have to show me something, versus like, I just want to visit you. I just want to hang out with you. I want alignment with you, and I'm going to spend time with you. So, you know, it's really important to kind of just, I guess, move like that, right? It's like, I'm not going to understand. I'm going to crack it open and see what happens. And
Where should somebody start with the Bible? Like if you, where do you start? What Bible do you get? There's so many versions. If somebody is like, they don't know even what to do,
Yeah.
where would you have them start?
I would start with Genesis, just from the beginning, and just kind of like reading that. A lot of people say start with the Gospels, so you can start in Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, whichever one. I go literally from Genesis to Revelation, and we do that in our Bible classes too, right? Where people are just like, a lot of people skip over the Old Testament stuff because it's just not relatable to anything of the times. But the gospel is in everything, right?
Yeah.
From Genesis to Revelation, it all points to one character, which is Jesus. So I would say Genesis. KJV for me, it's just been the most accurate. I've learned a little bit of Hebrew Aramaic. I've learned a little bit of Coney Greek. And when you read those types of things, there's like a heart, almost like a poetic kind of heart and nature to King James that's just different than other versions. And like NIV, NLT, those ones are great for like understanding and I guess literacy, but it removes a lot of scripture. So if you look at like Matthew 17:21, Matthew 18:11, it's not there, right? In certain versions. So you want to obviously read something that has everything in it. And so I would say King James Version.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
it was super important for me as somebody who views himself as analytical and I'm into health, so I like looking at some science stuff and everything of like the Wesley Huff stuff was it was really critical for me. Because like I had to, when you hear these lessons that come from Jesus, I had to look into like the actual history of it. Like how real are we talking here? And it turns out there's actually a lot of really high quality evidence, and Wesley Huff is really good at summarizing that. And then if you even have a basic understanding of how history works, how historians work, how anthropology works, you're like, oh wow, like this is, there's just like, it's like, okay, think if you're a human being in like the 1st century, right? Life is hard. Life is really hard. And now you have a chance to inscribe something on a tablet or write something in this, like, and this is what, not just what they, like everybody wrote about. It's the primary thing that was written about.
Yeah.
And so it's like that fact right there, if that doesn't tell you that
God
you
is
should
real.
look into it a little bit,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just history.
I've noticed that there's a shift now, at least even just 10 years ago. I was saved 10 years ago, and people would question a lot, like, you know, the validity of God and the deity of God, and is he even real? Nowadays, what I'm noticing, even just cross-denominationally, like working with people, it's not, no one really questions his proof anymore. Nowadays, it's his goodness. People are questioning, like, if God is really good, why does he allow babies to die? You know, it's like stuff like this versus like God's not real, you know? So I've noticed that it's been shifting because, as you say, there is crazy amounts of evidence. You know, I've seen something where it was like there's like 3 to 5 manuscripts that, you know, prove Chinggis, right? Genghis Khan. And then like there's like, I don't know, 10 to 13, you know, historians that talk about, you know, Alexander the Great. But then there's over like 2,500, you know, manuscripts about Jesus Christ from people like Nero and all these people who didn't even care about him, who hated him, who said he was practicing witchcraft. So it's like, it's kind of crazy how we believe in like Genghis Khan, we believe Alexander the Great, but then like, it's like there's more mountains of evidence when it's compared to Jesus, and they just kind of like reject it, you know? So I don't think people, at least from what I've seen, I don't think people really reject the fact that he's like alive or he's real. It's more of like, but is he good though? Right? Is he, if he does, why does he allow slavery?
So how do you deal with that question? Because that question comes up a lot of, well, 2-year-olds get cancer and die.
Yeah. So I think it's fallen nature, right? So I kind of explain it. It's similar to foundationally, everyone is asking essentially his goodness, right? If God is really good, why would he allow evil? Right. And this goes for babies dying to why was Satan created? Why is he allowed to, you know, punk Job and do all this type of stuff? Right. It all comes from, again, his goodness. And the way I answer it is, you know, it's kind of like I use analogies. So you don't create darkness, right? You just turn off the light. So God created, for example, Lucifer, and he created him beautiful, wise, you know, to be submitted to God. But he, out of free will, chose to go and become Satan and rebel against him, right? And so we have this sinful nature where naturally we're born into sin, and sin is just part of like being away from God, right? It's part of the fall, as we say. So, you know, God wanted us to he loves us, obviously, but love honors choice, right? He can't force everybody to love him, including babies, everything else. Like they don't even have this. It's a little bit different with babies, but human beings in general can't be forced to do something because that wouldn't be love. So free will is big, right, in Christianity, where it's like God is going to love you, but he's also going to allow you and honor your choice to walk away, because that's what love actually is, right? So you know, I get that question a lot. Another question is like, why doesn't God just let everybody go to heaven? You know, like if he's a good God, he just let everybody in, you know, good, bad, whatever. He's loving, accept them all. Again, love also honors justice, right? If I love like criminal activities, that's the corruption, right? So at the same time, like these questions for people who are analytical, it's good to ask those questions, but there's a heart posture behind it where it kind of makes it where it's like, make God make sense to me, and then I'll believe. Yeah. Which goes completely against faith. Faith is whether it makes sense to me or not, I trust you. Right? Because faith and belief and trust is all synonymous. But people tend to kind of have like these check boxes. So to answer the question of why God allows babies to die, it's also because we can't really appreciate life without death. Like you had mentioned both of your friends passing away. And to you, it was like, hey, I'm just partying. It's not an issue. But once that was taken from us, right, we naturally have the heart to go, oh, wait a minute. There's actual, like, we're not invincible, right? There's like me getting shot. I used to think like I was invincible. Man, I punched the guy who shot me. Like, he had a gun on him. I was like, you're not going to do it. Boom, I punched him and he shot me. Yeah. Right. Yeah. And I was like, oh, snap. And, you know, it felt like a linebacker just like tackled me. I thought I was paralyzed. I mean, I was 16 years old. Yeah. And so, you know, you can't appreciate, you know, health without sickness, right? You can't appreciate life without death. You can't appreciate, you know, riches and wealth without poverty. So God also gives us compare and contrast, not because he's evil, but because we don't see it. We tend to turn our blessings into expectations. And so this is why God allows those things. And so when Pastor explained that to me, I was like, wow, that makes sense. Like how thankful am I to have running water? Like, I'm not. I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I got to deal with Jeremy. You know, I got to deal with it.
What are you talking about?
So, I'll have these complainful hearts when I wake up, and then I'll
wake up thinking that.
But I'll have, but then I'll think about it. Like, man, I did missions trip in Liberia, Africa, 6 months. And I was like, bro, these guys don't even have running water. There was a civil war at that time. And it was only 10 years after the Civil War. And there's no electricity. There's, it's like like I'm not even thankful. Like, how is it that they have worse situations, but they're more happier? They dance for everything. They eat one meal a day. You know, they share everything that they have. And I'm over here living, even though it's in the projects or been in prison, running, you know, water, electricity, I have all of these things that are good, but the heart again is empty.
Yeah.
And I realize, oh, it's a heart issue. So that comes down to everything, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's with why does God allow babies to die, to why is there evil, to it's like, where is our heart posture when asking these questions, when actually, you know, submitting to God, or are we hardening towards God? I mean, all of these things kind of come into play.
And how do you guys get out of the mode of like begging God for things? Because I definitely catch myself in that. I feel like a lot of my prayer, I try to have a lot of gratitude in there, which, you know, makes me feel good. And then definitely will like, God, like, I have this thing that's gonna happen next week. Like, let it go good for me. Like, come on. Like, you're begging.
Sure.
Like,
it's a transactional thing, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of people have and it's natural because we're naturally in this world is transactional, right? Like, I mean, if you get rewarded when you do well, and a lot of people treat God like Santa Claus, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna do good things, I'll be on the nice list. If I do bad things, I'm on the naughty list, right? And he's like a vending machine. The way to get out of that is actually recognizing, oh, that's who I am. I'm a person that when I treat God this way, like, I don't really think about God's heart, right? And so I have to ask God for alignment. And instead of praying fix-it prayers, I tell people to pray thank you prayers. Like, okay, God, like you said with the gratitude, because gratitude is what's going to eliminate all of that transactional heart. God, thank you for this, thank you for that. And even, let's say you have an event later, like using your example, I would say, Lord, thank you that you're like out of time, space, and place, right? You already know what's going to happen. All I ask, God, is you give me the heart to be able to accept your will of what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Right. And that's okay. Versus like, I want you to, you know, let this deal go through and it needs to make me $10 million, et cetera, et cetera. It's more of like, God, whatever it is, like, I know you know what's best for me. So give me the heart to align with you. And when you do that, that's actually what God wants. Prayer is not, again, for, you know, you can ask for certain things, but it's to align with his heart. God, what do you think about this? Most people, whether reading the Bible, whether praying, is always, God, do something for me, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, relationship is two-sided. It's got to go both ways. A lot of us treat it one-sided. So that's the one thing.
I see that with health a lot. Like, people, once they have a health issue, they start really worrying about their health, you know? And there's a lot of similarities between faith of, like, once something goes wrong, people start praying. You know, even people who aren't religious at all, say they have no faith, say they have not, they start praying, you know, like, I mean, I'm sure, like, you know, when a gun gets pointed at you, when you're like, oh, I'm not religious at all, like, back in the day, you're like, you'll start praying.
Yeah, I wasn't like, oh my Buddha, I was like, oh my God.
And then we say when like really good things happen to you, we're not like, why God?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's hard to give thanks. And I definitely feel like health is very similar in that regard. Like, everybody has a lot of issues in their life until they have a major health issue. Then they have one issue that's like the main thing. And
that's true.
That's what I really like. Sometimes I feel like it's like you're out there spreading, you know, the message of Jesus Christ, and I like what really I feel like my last like 5 or 6 years has been is spreading a message of health and how important health is.
Amen.
And I really feel like people, especially young people, need to start to like focus on their health right now.
Yes.
And instead of waiting until they get a health issue. You know, like colon cancer is up 135% in people under the age of 30 years old. Obesity is almost at 50%. Diabetes is rising, and young people have some of the worst health I've ever seen, and they don't even notice it.
Yeah.
And it's just crazy to see in faith. Like, people will leave church, rip a vape, and go to crumble cookie. But if you leave church, there's what I was talking with Bryce, if you leave church and you say, you guys want to go to the strip club? Everyone goes, no. What? Come on, man.
True.
No. But leave church, hey, you want to rip this vape and go to crumble? Sure.
Yeah.
People are doing that every Sunday.
Poison.
I hope not you guys.
That's such good advice, though, to be like, if you wanna have a healthy future, you got to start now. Because I was just thinking the other day, like, okay, I'm making a lot of changes in my life recently, and I'm like, all right, new year, new me. Like, if you're expecting to say new year, new me this January, you got to start now.
Yes.
Like, no one just flips the next day. January 1st, new year, new me. It's like, I'm getting into the habits now that hopefully when the year flips, I can put my foot down and stick to them. But it's like, your advice is great where you got to start now to take
Oh,
care
the
of your health
the
now.
gym will be full in early January. Then it
right.
gets empty. I feel like that might be a similar wave with like faith. Like you probably have these waves of it, and I feel like we're on a wave right now of it. But like when times get like tough for people and things, maybe God didn't give you X, Y, and Z. Like, do you still have that faith? I think that's something. A lot of people deal with.
It's all integrated too, right? When it comes to like mind, body, soul, it's all an integrated system. So yeah, Satan will attack not just the spirit; he'll do the flesh, everything. Right?
Absolutely.
He's gonna. So that's such a good perspective when he said like people will don't go to the strip club. I'm not going to the club. I'm not drinking alcohol. Yeah, but you're ripping vapes and you're you know what I'm saying? Like
Satan is possessing a lot of people with they can't control their hand to their mouth.
Yeah,
and that can ruin your life if you don't have that discipline and ability to control that.
Hundo P.
Okay.
Hundo P.
What that was a bar right there.
Yeah, because it's like vapes, food,
can't
like
control.
anything.
Your hand is
I mean,
putting it into your mouth. This
Yeah.
is self-sabotage. A lot of the health habits that are destroying people are complete self-sabotage, and they don't even realize it.
What health advice did you believe for years that ended up being dead wrong?
Absolutely. I think the biggest trend in health that was wrong and still is around today is the vegetarian/plant-based argument of basically saying that
They're
We
gonna
love
come
to hear
after
that
us.
over
Yeah.
here. That's good news
No,
for
let's
this
go.
podcast.
I love that.
meat is yes. Okay,
Puts meat in his mouth every day.
that's Xanda's mouth.
yeah. Johnny Chang
So-
loves meat.
The whole thing of and it used to be more of a trend of meat is bad, dairy is bad, eggs are bad. You're going to clog up your arteries and die. Our parents' generation got hit with this a lot, and it's just completely wrong. It's completely false.
You also have an Indian background, and it's mainly like vegetarian, I would say, more than
Yeah, there's some
protein.
people in different parts of India where they'll have some meat. They don't eat cow, but like they'll have a lot of like lamb recipes, like lamb biryani. Luckily, that was more of like my mom's side, so there was never like a really vegetarian thing pushed in my house. My dad was Irish German, so it just worked out.
It's a bratwurst.
Yeah, exactly. It's a bratwurst. Yeah. But yeah, that's kind of the biggest myth I see that still is pretty prevalent. You aren't going to clog your arteries eating high quality meat, eggs, dairy. They're actually some of the most nutrient dense foods that you can consume. And you need those micronutrients to have good brain function. The thing I'm really interested in lately is neurochemistry and basically how your neurotransmitters function, because it controls how you feel and who you are. People will say, I'm a person who's depressed. I'm a person who's anxious. And we just had a functional medicine doctor on who runs all these lab tests, and they're expensive now, but they're going to become less expensive, and so people should know about it now. You can look into somebody's brain and look into what is going on. What's your dopamine to adrenaline ratio? Hormones are a big role in that. And the food you eat literally is used to create your neurotransmitters. And you aren't going to be happy or feel good if you mess that up. And we can if we ran an imaginary experiment right now where I injected both of you with a bunch of estrogen, a bunch of, and I just messed with your whole neurobiology, you'd feel horrible. There's no doubt you'd feel like, we talk about like having like a connection with God and having faith. Like a lot of that, it just comes easier when you feel good.
100%.
It's hard if, like you're sober now. So if I, in an imaginary world, made you do a big line of Coke right now, you would not feel good. I would
I'd be
assume.
happy for 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, like it would just like it would just make me feel like horrible, like separated, and it would just like mess with me. And I feel like a lot of people are putting substances into their body constantly that are making them feel that way.
Dude,
That makes sense.
we work with the doctor, and he's
Didn't he
curing-
say our stomach is the second?
the gut?
Yes.
second
Oh
brain.
yeah.
is
The
the
gut
second
is
heart
the
or
second
something?
brain. So
The
like
second brain, yeah.
the functional medicine doctor I work with, one of his things is he runs thousands of GI map tests. It's called a GI map. People can get this done now. It is gonna
Poop in
be-
a tray.
Yeah,
It's
you
very
literally
awkward.
like get your poop analyzed. And
You done
have you
it?
gotten this
Yeah,
done?
yeah. No, you
have
did. You
to.
didn't. He didn't
I
make you
didn't
poop
do
in the.
it. Nope, he
You didn't do it.
Wow.
No.
Okay. I
He's
do
like,
it.
he's like, I made Jeremy do it. He has high levels of estrogen.
But
Does
he
this
can
look like a high level of estrogen?
he can see from there, like, are you absorbing like your B vitamins that you're consuming? And like, if you're not, then well, how is your body going to actually end up producing the serotonin and dopamine that it needs? So the basic thing like people can do is start to realize that like health isn't something that you can just put over here and like I'll get around to it. And the Western medical system is amazing. There's so many good doctors out there, but it falls behind in like human optimization. So if you're broken, we have great doctors, amazing people. I'm not like an anti-Western medicine guy. But it's broken if you're like, you know what, I just feel like kind of bad and I want to optimize, I want to feel better. It's not much for you there.
That's so interesting that they have to wait till you're broken to then be like good at that. But then, that's
The,
No
the medical,
preventative, right?
yep, the medical
Right,
system
yeah.
is all about like fix it, not prevent it. But so my question to you is, if you could be king for a day and you could prescribe everybody in America 3 things, what would you make them do? It doesn't have to be supplements. Like, what would you make American?
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
it wouldn't involve supplements. I'll throw in a bonus supplement at the end. But the first thing is a morning hydration and stretching routine. That has been the most key thing for me ever, and it's so simple. And people go, "I don't have time." Everybody has like 5 to 10 minutes. You would just wake up earlier, like figure it out. You have time to do this. So
I hope you're listening to every single
I'm
thing he's
locked
saying.
in. I'm locked
Please,
in.
can we get him in to live in your house for a couple
yeah,
months?
come on, man.
Yeah.
You'll have to be locked in because I have a locked in routine. So it's just how it is. So first thing when I wake up, I get some water. I throw electrolytes in there. You could just try a pinch of sea salt.
Where could they get electrolytes?
SantaCruzPaleo.com or on Amazon, Santa Cruz Paleo.
We're drinking them right now.
Yeah, like you can just try like a pinch of sea salt if you just want to get like, dip your toe into the water there. And I hydrate. I go outside, so you start to get some sunlight into your eyes, on your face. Don't look directly at the sun, but just sunlight into your eyes. And that starts to actually stimulate cortisol production, which is not bad. Cortisol, people think, so cortisol bad. You want your cortisol to be high in the morning, it rises, then it drops throughout the day. That's a good cortisol rhythm. And there's lab tests where you can see, do you have high cortisol at night? It's probably why you can't sleep. So you want your cortisol to rise in the day.
That's why I stress you out in the mornings. I'm
Yeah,
doing
exactly.
it for your health.
Send them a text like, hey, that episode we recorded yesterday, I lost it all. Like, it's gone. Yeah.
Say
just
thank
raises
you next time.
Say thank you. It's crazy.
Yeah. Sorry for looking out for your health.
Yeah, come on. So hydration, and then I do some mobility in the morning, and that I've like posted my stretching routine, but you can just find movements that work for you. And this is also when I've started to integrate a lot of my faith. Starting to do some gratitude in the morning. I'll load up a Bible verse of the day, and I'll just kind of think about it. Sometimes ChatGPT will give me one that I don't like.
You know,
And
we
then
got something better for you.
Yeah, we do.
Give me another one.
We're gonna sign you up for daily devotionals.
Let's go.
It's a free devotional written by him. It's a Bible verse and an explanation.
I need
every
that.
morning.
Because the ChatGPT, sometimes it'll like, I don't know, it's like throwing me something like Greek or something. I'm like, what? Like what?
Yeah.
Give me something else. But I feel like this 10-minute routine sets my day up for success.
So the 3 things you would make everyone do is hydrate, stretch, and
That was
gratitude.
just one thing.
Yeah, that
Yeah,
was
that
Oh, that was
one.
one. Okay.
That
okay.
was you wake
Okay.
up.
Lock in, Jeremy.
Yeah. Morning
Come
routine.
on, man. We're getting dialed in today.
Okay, and then
You
what's
wake
2
up
and 3?
and you hydrate and stretch, so that's definitely the first thing. And then the second thing I would say is hit your protein goal. Now, this used to sound like some
so
body.
hard, man.
I was
It's
listening to
hard.
hit your vape. No,
Hit your vape, rip your blueberry vape. Yeah, come on. So the protein goal thing used to sound like a bodybuilder thing, and like people were like, "Oh no, it's
Right.
gonna like damage your kidneys." Turns out there is zero evidence that in healthy people, high protein consumption, even more than I'm about to recommend, damages your kidneys at all. It does not. Unless you have a kidney condition, you are good, and you're even more than good. Like protein is the best macronutrient for you. So you take the body weight that you want to be at, and you try to eat that many grams of protein. Don't pick a crazy body weight. I don't want you saying like, well, I want to be 250 pounds on muscle. Like, no, pick like a reasonable body weight.
Even getting to, so I'm trying to get down to 158. So like break down how much, because I take your protein too.
Yeah.
But it's hard to get, like I shouldn't just do it all through powders. Like to get it through food is kind of hard.
It is a little bit of work. I've found for me, I'm able to do it when I focus on it. Do you know what I mean? Like it takes a little bit of focus, but yeah, like for me, I want to get 160 grams of protein in every single day. I wake up and I like to have like 5 eggs. An egg's going to have about 5 or 6 grams of protein. And then, I personally kind of don't hit the goal if I don't hit a little protein shake or like a yogurt bowl, like something that's really protein focused. Like ground beef, it depends how much you get, but like you're probably going to get like 30 to 50 grams of protein when you eat like a decent sized serving of ground beef.
My straight up catch up protein meal is a cup of Greek yogurt that has 20 grams.
Yep.
And then I put a scoop of Santa Cruz
Mix it
protein
up.
powder. It's really
Yeah,
good.
the yogurt bowls are a hack.
Yeah, and then it's like that's 40 grams. That's a 40 bomb right there, and I could just
Yeah,
eat
and
that.
what I tell the people is like, I'm not going to come at somebody who's trying to get into health super strict. Just like you might not come at somebody who's like getting into like, you need to know every Bible verse. No, it's just not a good way to go about it. So what I would tell people when they're like, you know what, I want that pizza, I want that food that I know is bad, fine, have it. Before that, hit 30 grams of protein. So you're not saying I'm not going to order the food that I might hate, Domino's, Papa John's. I used to work at Papa John's. It's horrible. You really want that Papa John's. I don't know why. Go ahead and get it. drink 30 grams of protein or have 30 grams of protein before, and you know what's going to happen? You're going to get that, and you might eat a slice or two. But your body's not going to binge out on it because it's going to get full.
Right.
So you're going to eat less of it. And honestly, chances are after you have that 30 grams of protein, if you wait 5 or 10 minutes, you probably won't even call that drug dealer Papa John.
Wow, interesting. I'm gonna try that because I'm definitely like my vice is like binge eating bad food when I'm just like end of the week and I'm lazy.
Yeah, and I think like there's like options for food, right? Like I like to go get some tacos. Like there's better options, right?
Yeah.
Like a real taco from like a real Mexican place is gonna be better than going to McDonald's. Like it's not even in the same universe.
Or like Taco Bell.
Yeah, like what? Like Taco Bell's disgusting. When's the last time y'all ate Taco Bell?
It's been
last night.
Pretty recently for the first
Come
time in
on.
years.
Oh
And you know
my
why?
goodness.
You know what got me for the first time in years? It was the Flamin' Hot burrito.
Oh,
I was like, I just have to know.
Covered in red 40.
I was like, I just have to know. I have to know.
And how did you feel after you ate it?
Dude, he's about to
Terrible.
choke you out.
Terrible.
I only had like 2 or
Terrible.
3 bites because it was really that bad. Like
Yeah.
really, it was that disgusting.
The comedian Matan just had me on his podcast, and he's hilarious. And he had his co-host drink a lot of. He was like, obviously told him like drink a lot of Red 40 while Brendan's on the podcast. Like, and by the end of the podcast, this dude was slowing down, bro. You could see in his eyes. He's telling him to eat the Cheetos and drink the Skittles drink, and I was like, dude, he's getting nauseous, bro. And he's like, ugh, like trying to be in character. Like that stuff really adds up. But yeah, that's the hit your protein goal is like one of the main things people can start to do. And then the third thing is you have to have some type of nighttime routine. And the biggest thing is that circadian biology I was talking about. Make your house dark. Go on Amazon, get red light bulbs if you want, and put those into some lamps around your house, or some orange tinted light bulbs, or get some candles, get some beeswax candles, fire those up. When the sun is down, you try to make your place dark. And I try to like view light like the opposite of a fly at night. Like I'm the opposite. Like my wife turns on like a light, and I'm like, no, like turn it off.
Wait, but what about like reading? If my house is dark and I want to read my Bible at night,
Yeah.
is that bad for my eyes?
There's companies like Huga Health. There's even ones on Amazon that make reading lights that are red light. Red light does not suppress melatonin as much as blue light. So you can get these little reading lights, and like, yeah, that's really the way to go about
Is
it.
it the same red light, like red light therapy?
The red light, if it's just a red tinted bulb, is not going to give you the red light benefits that come from like 650 nanometers wavelength or something. And I have those red light devices. I love them. I'm a big fan of them. But
They
that's
use
not
that
the
in
same type.
Japan, I heard, right? Like the red light therapy and stuff like that.
They're ahead on everything. So yeah, the red light panels are amazing. If you're out there and you can afford a red light panel, get that thing.
Really?
Yeah, they're real.
Okay,
The
so
research is
might
real.
as well put them on. What is red light therapy and how do you use it?
Yeah, so basically the sun emits a bunch of different wavelengths of light. And so over the last 30 years, they've done a bunch of research on what these wavelengths do in the body. And what they found is these specific red light wavelengths basically there's tons of studies on eye health is kind of the main thing, healing with injuries, skin health, hair regrowth, and it comes down to stimulating your mitochondrial health, which you're gonna hear so much about mitochondrial health in the next 10 years. There's gonna be peptides that benefit it. There's basic supplements that benefit it. Exercise benefits your mitochondrial health. And so there's like a lot of mitochondria in our eyes. And so like getting that red light makes your vision better. It helps people with like eye injuries and stuff. Wow. It's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, and you can get these red light panels. I have Huga Health ones, but there's so many companies.
Dude, they're expensive.
I know what
it was like 10 G's for like a full body one.
That's why I do like that company Huga. They're a bit more affordable. Like you can get a big one like this for like $300.
Dang, that's cheap.
Yeah.
Might as well get one.
Yeah.
Maybe you do your live streams in front of one since you're in front of the computer
No,
for
but
so
it makes
long.
me sleepy. Like I've
It does,
done
yeah.
it before, and I'm just like, whoa, and like I knock out and I sleep super well.
Yeah, because your melatonin's probably cranking up because it's not going to suppress melatonin.
Right.
So and it's interesting. Fire emits a lot of red light. So like one of the fascinating things, like our ancestors who would sit around a fire,
Fireplace, yeah.
and there's like these certain like urges, and there's like the medical anthropology like kind of view of health, which I got really into at UC Santa Cruz, what I like got my degree in. And there's all these things that like we're just naturally drawn to as Homo sapiens, as human beings, that are so deeply ingrained in our biological reward system that you can't escape them. This is what I feel like we're all doing so much in society now, is we're trying to escape our natural, deeply ingrained biological reward system. And I would also put faith in that.
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say.
people they think they can escape it. They go, well, I'm going to eat this like kind of new food and I'm just going to like kind of be under these bright lights at night and that's good. And you just try to escape it so much. And I'm going to have no faith. I'm going to think that when we die, our eyes are just closed. Like that's it. And they try to escape all that stuff and it breaks you every time.
Sheesh, that's facts. That's what I was thinking. I was like, it's 100%. Yeah.
There's too much, there's too much time that we've been on this earth without a lot of these modern things that are around that have set our brains up in such a way, and everybody knows that hugging people feels good and having community feels good, and we see all these studies on the blue zones. Oh, they eat all types of different stuff, but they all have community. Okay, it's too deeply ingrained. Yeah, and again, like that's what I've been really interested in lately is faith.
Yes,
you're not gonna find many people in like studying anthropology. You're not gonna find tribes that have no faith. Yeah. This is a brand new thing. Facts. Go find a tribe that thinks, well, science tells me when I die,
there's
nothing.
Blue hair tribe.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. Look at their health. Like it's not they struggle the most. Like that. Like you talk about like antidepressant use and ADHD med use. Like there's a lot of that in that group. Well, how do you break past the callous that people like yourself when you're young develop of how would God exist? Look around. Look at my life. Why I'm like. Yeah. You're like, my dad's an alcoholic. Mm-hmm. These are my circumstances. Yeah, easy for you to think God exists if somebody's telling you like, and you're like, look at your life. You're a pastor or whatever. You have this life at this church. Like, yeah, of course you think God exists. Right. If you lived a day in my shoes, God wouldn't exist to you. Yeah. How do you get people past that callous?
I think the aha moment for me was when I realized that, okay, I'll become my own God, right? In that there is no God. So now I have to lead my life. And how did that work out? Mm-hmm. So that took the logical side of me too, to be like, every time I did what I wanted to do. So like homework I didn't do, drugs I wanted because they were fun. Like I became my own filter, right? I filtered everything. I literally lived a horrible life, right? Mm-hmm. So it came to the point where we teach a lot in Core of the Heart is like distrusting your thoughts, distrusting your feelings, following the word of God, right? So pastor kind of, I guess he helped me with it where he was like, Johnny, you led your life. You've been right all of your life, and your standard in your, in your own ways. How did it work out? Mm-hmm. And I had to be real with myself and be like, it didn't work out well. Yeah. I joined a gang at 12, went to California Youth Authority, which is literally child prison. Yeah. And from there, graduated and went to level 4 yards, level 3 maximum security prison. Like, did I ever plan that? No. I wanted to be happy. I wanted to make money. I wanted to have, cars, clothes, everything else that the world tells you is going to make you happy. And so that really broke me, was for me to take a step back and kind of reflect and be like, okay, I don't care about this God thing. I don't care about Buddha. I don't care about anything, any religion. Mm-hmm. I'm going to be my own religion. I'm going to be self-motivated, a hustler, and do whatever. How did that lead me? Yeah. And it didn't work out. It was actually worse. And I had compounded trauma and I had all this type of stuff. So for me, I think what I tell other people is you do have to obviously be real with yourself, right? If you're going to be analytical about all of the things, not just, subjective things and like relative things, but like absolute things. Like, how am I really happy? And like really think about that, And then secondly, it's like, I think God also, there's a God factor in it where he's going to allow you to go through those things, right? Because of free will. And he steps into the pain. A lot of people think, and I used to think this, where God is only good if he removes all pain, right? But like, God utilized my pain. Yeah. And he's like, look, Johnny, you went through this. Now it's like, I'm not going to heal you now because I'm going to use that for someone later, right? And so I was able to see like, oh, me going to prison, me feeling the deep depths of depression, which I hated, me wanting to commit suicide, 3 different occasions. Now I'm able to, even me being like, sexually assaulted by a girl who was 17 and I was 12, was able to like, he could use that. And now people that I mentor, people that I talk to, all the people that watch me are like, oh my gosh, like this is relatable. Yeah. Like I can't go to a suited and booted pastor and be like, who's 5th generation pastor, I can't explain everything to them. Yeah. But then this guy with, neck tattoos and teardrop tattoo can understand me. Absolutely. And so I was like, wow, God, like he has so much foresight, right? And it was almost foolish for me. I had to have that moment of like, I really don't know. I thought I knew everything. I thought I was invincible. I thought I could lead my life. And I came to what we call the end of ourselves in the Bible, and you're able to see like, dang, okay, I can't do it. And then the byproduct is you leaning on God, right? It's not like, let me try and muster and try to do this. It's more of like, I can't do it. Okay, now let me lock into what can help me do it. And that's what helped me.
Man, I wish there was some like button I could press to when I'm in those difficult moments to realize that like it's God's lesson and it is going to help me. And sometimes I'll tap into that a little bit when something negative happens in my life. I'll be able to think about that.
Sure.
But it's fascinating you say that because the same thing happened to me with my dad passing away.
Yeah.
He struggled with really bad alcoholism in his last couple of years, especially. And Jeremy was brutal. It was just like horrible. Like take him to Stanford Hospital. Like, you know, he gets like the full like shakes and like I gotta like see him like that and you know, a bunch of stuff. It was horrible. And
How old were you?
I was 27. Yeah. And so just basically just watching him die. Mm-hmm. And at the time, of course, there's just anger, resentment. It just pissed me off. And by then I was already running a health company. I was already like, and it's wild looking back on it because I got super into health content and what I do and spreading my own message of health. And it's like, when I really look at it now that like he's gone, is I couldn't help my dad with his own health. And so I really chose to help others with their health.
Amen.
And that alcoholism, seeing that directly in person, it's like I was already into health right now by then, but like I'm never going to be a drinker. There's no way.
Yeah.
There's no way. It doesn't matter what happens in my life. I will never be a drinker ever again. And like, it just caused me to really push this message of health out because like I couldn't help him.
Wow.
And so it like tapped me into just like on a deeper level.
Yeah.
Were you angry at God?
Yeah. Absolutely.
And then now coming back to faith though, do you still kind of have those struggles like what is your kind of feelings with that particular situation of God?
One of my biggest things I struggle with, and I would love to get your insight in it, is I get these moments of like, oh, like when something good happens or whatever, like I wish he was around to see this. And like, I just wanted to make him proud.
Yeah.
And now he like, I know he can see it.
Yeah.
But again, the analytical mind is like, oh, like I wish he was around to see this. I wish he was around to see my house now.
Yeah.
Like, come take a sauna with me. See the ocean view. Like, look what I've done. See how I, help people in my family and help my friends. And he didn't get to see that. He saw when the company was just getting going. It wasn't doing a lot of money. We were hustling, and now it's such a big thing. And like I've done these meetups and stuff. Like we had one in New York with 3,000 people out there.
Wow.
Shut down the street. It was unbelievable. You were out there. It was crazy. And like definitely going home after that, I was like telling my wife like, man, I just wish he could have been there to see that. And it's something I definitely struggle with. I wonder if there's anything that you know of that relates to that.
Yeah. So I actually had I was in Sacramento. This was about 4.5 years ago. There was, we were doing against, like Oakland and Sacramento gang violence. Mm-hmm. And I was there to kind of do this, like prevent the, violence. And so this lady, I remember she was like drunk. I could smell like the alcohol. And, she's like, oh, it's so great that you're over here, talking about, gang violence and you made it out and blah, 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 right? She's like, but F God, and I was like, okay. And she's like, my daughter, she's like 8 years old, she got shot by a stray bullet, AK-47 straight to the head, and she's gone, and she's like crying, you know? She's like, why would God allow that? Like, I've now, got promotions in my life. I've, gotten better, and like, she can't see that, right? So like, F your God, basically. Mm-hmm. And I was like, she's like, why would God allow this to happen, right? And so she was kind of like screaming at me, like, why? And honestly, what I said to her was, I don't know. Right. I started with that, and then she was kind of like shocked. Mm-hmm. And I said, but what I do know is if you just take, let's say the God factor out of it, right? If you think about your daughter, do you think your daughter would be like, hey, mom, every time you think about me, be sad. Mm-hmm. Every time you think about me, like, don't have another kid. Don't be happy with your husband. Like, always be sad, drink whenever. And she kind of like started tearing up. Yeah. And I said, I don't know your daughter, but I'm sure your daughter wouldn't want that, right? Mm-hmm. And I expressed to her, I said, she probably would be like, Mom, I'm sorry I can't, have you walk me, to my first wedding and, take me to, prom or whatever. But Mom, I want you to be happy. Mm-hmm. And she started bursting in tears. She was crying. And so, she started to realize, I said, if you think about, if you take a step out of yourself and think about your daughter and live for your daughter, I think that would make her happier than anything. And she said it that day. She said, you know what, like, truthfully, I do want to live for my daughter. And you're right, you know? And so in the same stroke, when you're saying that, I think about, like, I don't know your father, obviously, but I do believe that he would be proud of you, you know? And I think as a father, as long as they, you know, their kids are doing well, it doesn't matter how, like my dad, right? My dad, we rekindled our relationship. He doesn't care how much money I make. He's happy that I'm out there just being happy. Yeah. Right. And so, yeah, I think your dad would be really proud of you. And so, you know, I don't know him, but I think even scripturally, right? As you had mentioned, he's there. He sees what's going on. And then through that, he's able to, you know, be thankful. And I think that would give us peace, you know, deep down, is like, yes, I want him physically there, but dad's proud of me, like, regardless of what it is, you know? And so this is, and then it's almost like that motivating factor. Absolutely. To be like, Dad, I'm going to do this. And like, when we get up there, meet him, et cetera, it'll be amazing, you know? But yeah, I think that's kind of my advice for it.
It's wild. These are the things that we're talking about right here and that you guys talk about all the time, that there isn't really anything else that solves this.
Amen.
There isn't anything else you can go to. And I tried the other things. I went to therapy. I talked to a therapist, and there can be benefits in that, sure, but it didn't solve it for me, because it's a never-ending thing. There's always things that are going to come up. So what am I going to do? I'm going to be in therapy forever talking to a therapist? It's like, you know, like, if that benefits people, sure, like that's great. But for me personally, I was like, I need to look deeper and have more faith, because these are always going to be things that it's never ending. Yeah.
100%.
And like now it's like I have resources, like, and I thought when I make this amount of money, I'm going to have no worries. Yeah. I'm going to be good. Yeah. Now I make way more than that amount of money, and I have issues. Yeah. I have issues. It does not go away. Facts. And so, like, this is also the crazy thing about the human brain. We actually aren't wired to be happy 100% of the time. People are chasing that so much of like, no, I just want to be like happy all the time. It's never going to happen. You're not wired for that. You wouldn't survive. We are naturally anxious, worried, and happy, and, you know, stoked. Like, that's just how our brain is wired. We're wired to have all these emotions, and that's one thing I'm getting a bit better at lately, is being able to be happy in my in my emotions. Like, there's been times where I've been crying about something, and I'm able to step back. And this is only as I got older, and be like, no, like, this is just part of being a human. Yeah.
That's the acceptance factor, right? So, you know.
Do you feel like it's been all the comforts of the modern world that make people not want to feel pain, sadness, you know, those kind of negative emotions? It's like we're almost like lied to because we see other people's lives that seems better than ours.
Yeah, I think it's 50% that. And then the other half of it is, I think a lot of people have like traumas that are stored in the body, stored through like just, you know, experiences. And like for me, for example, like I was big on control. So I would want, like, you know, I wasn't good at being vulnerable before, being a gang member, because to me, vulnerability meant weakness. Yeah. And weakness meant danger, right? So I was very controlling in that aspect. So I think, yes, of course, it's what you see, and you know, you're influenced by the world. But the other half of it is like just kind of like what you've been through too. It's like, dang, I can't be vulnerable. I can't tell my homies that I'm feeling some type of way. I can't tell them that I'm struggling with my cocaine addiction, you know, and I can't like, I'll look weak, and then they're going to look down on me, and then I won't be able to live because I respect these people. So it's like, I think most people just have a fear of like being wrong. Because if you think about it, even on a logical level, there's nothing wrong with being wrong, right? It's like, I messed up, I'm sorry, like, that's it. But a lot of people have that pride, or like they'll harden. I was like that. They have that callous, as, you know, Brendan was saying. So I think it's 50-50, you know. It's because there's social media everywhere, but like not everyone's affected by it, right? There's drugs everywhere, and like not everyone's a drug addict. So it just depends on, like, I think like a person's heart posture is how we say it. Yeah.
Let's get into some of the Bible connections to the body. So what does the Bible say specifically about like working out or exercise or health? Is there any specific verses?
I mean, it doesn't say that, but it does talk about discipline, right? So God wants us to be disciplined. It also talks about the body being a temple. But the context of that also is Jesus is the temple, right? He is the body, right? And he will break down the temple in 3 days and build it back up. But still, it does correlate with us being, all integrated. Like the mind affects the heart. The heart then affects behavior, right? What you think affects the way you feel. What you feel affects the way you behave, right? So if you have a lustful thought, then you have lustful feelings and then lustful actions. So yes, it is all connected. Now, when it comes to health, obviously, like Brendan was saying, if you're pumping your body all day with like Twinkies and you're just gonna feel nasty. 3 days ago, I just binged, right? I ate chili cheese fries from the Hat. Shout out the Hat.
That's not like you at all.
I know. That's not like you at all. It's
What got
crazy.
into you, man?
So I just ate that, and it was so bomb in the beginning, but then I woke up the next day with like a rock in my stomach.
Yeah.
I just felt nasty, right? And so I'm like, man, all of this is connected. And because of that, legit, I didn't want to write a devotional. It's a trickle down.
Well, that's
effect.
why you were so mean to me that day.
No,
Chili-
it's true. Food
It's true.
directly affects your mood. Like
Yeah.
there's so many, pathways for that. So
Yeah.
you ate those chili cheese fries and crashed out. Yeah.
100%. Chili cheese fries equals crash out, right? Crash out, Johnny. BC Johnny. But no, I was able to see like, oh, it's true. Like God is always saying, guard the heart, have discipline, right? In all things that you do. 1 Corinthians talks about this. Do it for the glory of God. So like if now when I think about it, I'm like, like God gave me this body. I have to steward with this body. It's a tool, right? I can't be having a messed up tool, right? I have to be sharp. I have to stay on top of it. And so that's helped me a lot.
Yeah.
I used to love like chips. Chips is my thing. It's like I love eating chips all
Used
the time.
to.
No,
I've
been
we gotta
good.
get you some of the beef tallow chips, some
Bro,
pasta chips. Yeah.
please,
I'll
bro,
hook you up.
please,
Yeah.
bro. We'll smash that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's a lot of like good alternatives for
Right.
a lot of the things people love that are unhealthy. Luckily nowadays there's like a lot of, those things. But yeah, I do feel like, if we want to have the best version of ourselves, that is a healthy body. Like if somebody is going to envision what they look like as like, someone who's been working hard, then a lot of that's going to come with a good image of their body and how they feel like inside. And it can be done, and it gets down to discipline, just like
Yeah.
you're saying. Like I could tell you guys the exact stuff to do for your health, but it involves getting your steps in, involves
Yes.
working out, involves eating real unprocessed food. Like you're going to get 90% of the way there with just, people know what to do.
Yeah. GospelBot is officially live. I made an AI chatbot built from everything I've ever taught, every live stream, sermon, main stage message, Q&A, and daily devotion, all trained to give gospel-centered answers aligned with my teachings. For years, you all have asked for two things. Number one, how can I absorb the Bible faster and actually live it? Number two, how can I get more direct access to me? This is that tool. Think of it as having me and the word in your pocket 24/7. You can go deep, like, why does God allow evil to exist? Why did Jesus turn water into wine? Can Christians get tattoos? How do I preach to my atheist girlfriend? Not only will GospelBot reply with the perfect answer, but it will also send you the original videos where I originally talked about your question. We spent over 6 months building this gospel-focused guide so that when life hits, you can get my gospel-centered advice instantly. GospelBot is free to try for everyone right now. Try it right now with the Core of the Heart account. Or if you want more messages, start a 7-day free trial at tier 2 or tier 3 and dive all the way in. My mission has always been simple: to equip you with the tools I wish I had when I was trying to learn spiritual life. Now you've got one of the most powerful tools ever made right at your fingertips. Go try it, ask it something real, and watch how your spiritual life can improve. Check the link in the description for sign-up instructions.
There's still a level of difficulty, right? So like, everything you guys are saying makes sense, but then to be able to actually execute it, if your, just life gets in the way, like what do you do? And also, is there a point where the discipline for spirituality or health becomes, like
neurotic.
neurotic? It sounds great to be locked in on your health and spirituality, but when does self-control and discipline become an idol?
When it serves self and it doesn't serve God, right? Like if you're like, oh, and it shapes your identity. So for example, I didn't do my burpees today. Oh my gosh, I'm not obedient to God. I'm horrible. Like when you start doing this, it's actually, you may be working out the physical, you may be working out the spiritual, but now you're emotionally affected, right? Which also has ramifications and is bad, right? So I think as long as what you're doing is so that the spirit has to be first, right? So everything has to point to God. Like, okay, God, I'm doing this. I'm reading my Bible, not to, because you could read your Bible, for example, and still be like super pharisaical. Be like, I'm going to use this scripture to weaponize against people. That seems, you're reading your Bible, it looks good, but heart posture, right? So I think anything that drives you away from God, pulls you away from God, that's when it becomes, as you say, neurotic or like evil, right? Or idol worship. Anything that pushes you close to God, I think is important. So for me, it's like you guys know, like we go out to these after services, we take photos. It's 4 or 5 hours. Like I have to sit there and have wind. Like I can't just sit there and be like read 40 dead, like and
So
just like
true.
oh guys,
So
yeah,
true.
Jesus is like I do that. I work out not to just look the sexy, okay? Right? I'm doing it also to be like, okay, I need this energy. I need stamina to be able to like preach the gospel to people. We do lives like crazy long, 3-4 hour lives, Bible class, 4 hours, using our brains. Like we have to be sharp. And it's not just be like, oh, I want to keep like my gray matter and this. It's more of like, God, like I'm a tool. You have to use me. Like use me. You can't use me if I'm sitting here doing my own thing.
You used to always get sick all the time and just
did.
kill the momentum.
I'm sorry. That's absolutely true.
It's I mean 100%, man. Like you can make life a bit easier for yourself by dialing in your health. It's so simple.
Okay, but the number one is diet, right? And even today, I hired somebody to help me with the meal prep because I'm just trying to be healthier.
Let's go 1%, baby. 1%.
Yeah. It was TaskRabbit. It's actually cheaper than people think. But if I had to do that with my work schedule and everything like that, to do that every week or every 2 weeks, it's hard.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's like 4 hours. It's like the grocery shopping was like to be thoughtful, to weigh out the food.
I didn't
to make
say
it
it
all.
would be easy.
Yeah. It's like 5 hours, and then it's like at a
100%.
certain point to be consistent with that when life just gets in the way. I don't got kids. I'm a single guy. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine somebody with a family doing all that stuff. Yeah, like what would you say to the people that say, Brendan, it's just hard. Like you don't know what it's like.
Yeah, it is hard. It is hard is definitely what I would tell them. And there's so
It's
many-
harder than me going to Crumble Cookie or McDonald's.
I give people so many options out there. So it's like I do videos going to Chipotle, and people are like, Brendan, you're eating seed oils. Chipotle uses seed oils. I'm like, Chipotle is still a very, very good option. Like you can't let perfect be the enemy of good. Chipotle is
That's what I told
Yeah.
him.
yeah.
I was like,
And
I
it's
love
also like then I
Chipotle.
show people like what they can get at Chipotle. Like
But that was a
you
bar
should-
though. Say that line again. You can't.
You can't let perfect be the enemy of good. So people will like throw their hands up in there and go, health is hard. I'm just going to do whatever. That's not the way to go about it.
Yeah.
Come on. Like
For
we,
sure.
we know that that's not true. It's not a truth in the world.
That's
Oh,
low
yeah.
key crash out energy too.
It is.
That's true about
It is.
everything.
It is. Oh, being healthy is hard. Like this was difficult. So it's like maybe you could start your morning with a healthy breakfast, and then sure, don't even
Baby
worry about
steps.
what you eat later if that's really where you're at in your health journey. Or you can start your morning out with a healthy breakfast. Now it's lunch at work, and you're gonna go to Chipotle instead of going to McDonald's. And then maybe you're gonna find some meal prep, or maybe you're gonna cook on Sundays, and that can be like a nice thing you do. And then you prep those meals yourself, and you pick a time in your day. Okay, I have 2 hours. What can I do? I could put some chicken in the oven. I could put some veggies on there. I can look up a 1-pan recipe that's
Crock
easy.
pot.
Yeah, there's so many things people can do, and I feel like it just gets down to like a mentality, like you're talking about, like, and like self-sabotage and self-hate. I think is a huge thing on why most people are unhealthy.
Explain self-sabotage, self-hate.
I think a lot of people, they don't like themselves. They don't like themselves, man. Like when you look at like really morbidly obese people, there's trauma there, 100%.
Yeah.
And like when you look at the 600-pound people, like when they have sessions with them with a therapist, they will get into like I was sexually abused. They do rate sexual abuse, and those people who are like mega obese is astronomical. So they'll try to make themselves very unappealing, basically. But I think on like a lower level, there's basically people who just don't feel deserving of love. They don't feel deserving of having a body that looks good and feels good. And so they ruin that with health. And I think a lot of the young kids, it's manifesting in vapes and Zins and alcohol. And I mean, that's a huge issue. I mean, that's a whole topic we can get into.
Yeah, also like the dopamine with everything is gambling now. Everything is a quick hit of dopamine.
Yeah, so let me like touch briefly on this. So there's a lot of people out there that are using Zins every day. You guys Zin users before I go on this? No, nobody here. Okay, good.
I've zinned before.
So a lot of these kids think that Zins and nicotine are like, they'll be like, well, nicotine is a nootropic. This is something I hear all the time. And sure, there's some cool studies on nicotine acting as a nootropic. Let me tell you right now, I've sat down with many doctors. Not one of them, even the ones that are a fan of nicotine, go, yeah, popping a Zin at 6 p.m., 7 p.m., 8 p.m. is a good idea. You're cranking up your dopamine, like you're saying. You're cranking up your norepinephrine, your adrenaline. It's going to affect your sleep later at night. They've done studies on that. And I would be concerned about the oral cancer and colon cancer. It's not proven yet with just nicotine, but I have my concerns.
Okay, well, obviously I know what a nootropic is, but for these two, what is a nootropic?
Well, what is that supposed to mean?
I saw this dude's supplement stack down there. So nootropics are like substances that can affect your brain function, basically. So they can make your brain function better. So there's a bunch of natural things that have been around forever, like lion's mane, bacopa, ginseng, that have a strong effect, but it's not as potent as these substances like nicotine. And nicotine has a tremendous potent effect, and there's no biological free lunch. Like, you can't just like be popping something that gives you such a big effect and for it to not negatively affect your body in some way. They're just, I mean, show me one substance that's like that. There's not. So,
And I think that's also the lie. Or so, like, one of the questions was like, what are some of the most dangerous health traps today? And so one might be like, everyone's looking for this quick fix, right? It's like, I take this nicotine nootropic and because a scientist did a study on it and suddenly I have limitless, and it's easy. I don't have to worry about like preparing like a nice meal or whatever it is. So I think that's a huge trap. So what were you saying at the end there? Okay, I have a billion view content idea for you. You should get horribly out of shape, do Zins, basically supersize, and then show people how easy it is to get back.
yeah, I would never do that.
Okay, well,
I love myself too much.
experimented on him.
I always joke with my buddy Albert. Like, we had this expert in peptides and steroids in the studio yesterday, because a lot of young people are getting into steroids, peptides, and doing all this wild stuff. And so he's an expert on that. He's not really anti it, but he just broke down some of the facts. And yeah, I was joking. I was going to put one of my videographers. I'm like, let's just run like a lot of this on you, see what happens. They can do some crazy stuff nowadays. This is actually a question I want to ask you. So, a lot of young people right now are struggling with insecurity. There was this huge trend lately of looks maxing, and the black pill movement, I'd say, go kind of hand in hand. And basically the new trend is, it's something that's been around for a while, right? But they're basically saying looks are the most important thing in life. And I have to do whatever it takes to look good, whether that be getting a height surgery, which, Jeremy, maybe we should get one later. We'll we come back just like 6'6".
I'm
we
6'6". I'm 6'6". What do you mean I need a height?
Nobody, he is 6'6", yeah. But they're basically saying, man, like, looks supersede everything. And they're basically making, like, looking good their God. Like, if I look good, everything is taken care of.
Yeah.
Is there anything in the Bible that talks about insecurity, looks?
Yeah, I think it talks about it in James when people are dragged away by their own lusts. And people think lust is just like a sexual thing, but there's, lust of the eyes, lust of the heart, lust of the ears, what they want to hear, what they want to see. So it's anything that, you place above, you kind of said it towards the end, place it above God, right? It becomes their God. And the reason why people are like that is because they don't trust the word of God. They trust, everything else, which they call the God of this world, right? So there's a little g, which is Satan, and then the big G, which is God. So God of this world, God, prince of the power of the air, is Satan. And what he does is he uses these types of things, right? Validation, seeking validation. And at the end of the day, it's like, why do looks matter? Because you become validated. You have this mind to be like, I want to be glorified and exalted at all costs. And the easiest thing to do is pretty privileged, right? People go, oh, wow, that's a good looking person. They're more inclined to hear. And so that is true. I think God does create beauty in a way, but people are now trying to, like, again, over exalt this and pour all of their heart into this and be like, literally this, then it becomes an idol, right?
Yeah,
and
but people would push back on you, and they would be like, no, but like, you don't get it. Like, I can't go out there and get girls. I look bad. I need to, get the surgery, or I need to do amphetamines. People are doing to lose weight. I need results now. Like, that's great that you just said that. Yeah. But you don't understand. If
Yeah.
I don't look good, my life sucks.
Yeah.
I don't get girls. I feel depressed. How
Yeah.
would that bring me closer to God?
Yeah.
And
It's
also,
similar-
and also, there's also the people that were like, no, Johnny, I used to be fat. No one cared about me. And then I got fit, and now my life changed. So I know there's physical evidence in my own life that I'm happier because I look better.
Yeah. So again, I think it comes back to the checkboxing, right? It's like, well, I'm only going to, like if you're drawing from a source to be happy and it's not from God, then although it may be good, just like candy tastes good, it's not good for you, right? So a lot of people are, you could be happy, like to your point, but it's the same thing what we were just talking about, making 30, 40,000. We all have that heart posture too. What's different with, the money situation versus, oh, I want to look good, right? If I just get this, if I just get my looks back, if I was just a little taller, if I, for women, if I just had bigger breasts, whatever, like these things you guys have to realize is it's not going to, like, we've been through that, right? We're chasing, it's a hamster wheel thing. But that again comes with people having to accept that, right? And this is the tough part. You can't make a person, I can explain it, but I can't make somebody accept it. They have to go through these things. And sometimes that's why I think it's important that God allows black pill and whatever, all those things that happen, because then you kind of realize, because for every person that's like, I want to be there, there's a lot of people I mentor that was like, I was there. Beautiful, OnlyFans models, ex-porn stars, etc. And they're like, we just wanted to get it here and we were still empty, right? So there's more, like for every person that's like, I got it and it was great, there's 10 other people who are like, I got it and I was literally suicidal, right? So, I mean, it's always grass is greener on the other side. Everybody's going to have that. Everything in hindsight is going to look like, oh, we can pick in and be like, yeah, this is amazing. Everybody, can think this way. But the issue is, like, for those people who actually lived it, you have to kind of take from what they say, right? And if you can't, then I'm just being honest, you have to just go through it.
Yeah.
Like, how many times
true.
have people told me, right? Like, bro, being a gang member, it's not the life. I don't care what anybody said. We had DARE, we had all these programs. It was like, bro, you're going to die. You're going to get shot. And at that moment, at 12 years old, 16 years old, I'm like, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not going to do that. I lived in the projects. I saw people on meth strung out. I saw people on crack at that time. Oh, I'm not going to be like them. And I tried all that stuff. And so it's this mindset of like, you have to kind of go through it. Most people are this way, right? So of course it's difficult, but that's where we have communities. That's where we have content like this to be like, look, we understand. We're here if you go through it. We want you to preventatively not go through it. But if you do go through it, we're also here to like help you at the end of it, like my
Well, that's
pastor.
why I feel like what you do is so beneficial, because it's tough for people to just go to church and, hear the pastor talk. I feel like content like this actually, it just breaks through to them. You just put it in simple words, and I feel like there's like this thing of like what faith can do. It develops like a deep contentness. It's not so much like happiness. Like I feel like this word happiness, like we're chasing happiness. Like no, like faith helps me develop like a deep like contentness with life. And then there's like stuff on the external for sure. Like I'm still like in my ego, like I want to make more money and like I want to do this, and like that stuff's like cool. But like there's like a deep contentness that again was sort of missing for me.
Peace,
100%. Yeah. That's really the word I'm looking for is peace, like a deep underlying peace. And life comes and there's bad days, there's good days, but like if I can have that deep underlying peace, I mean that's everything.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think overcoming is what's important too. People have that mindset of like, I have to, be able to like overcome everything, right? But it's like, it's not necessarily true. There's times where you just have to sit there in it. Like, I mean, it's just how life is.
Yeah.
I wanted to get out of prison. I was like, what the heck? But I had to do my time. And through that, I was able to learn a lot of stuff, meet a lot of people. Like it's never as bad as what you think it is. And I use this analogy a lot where people have lost their job or they've lost stuff. There's times where I was like, I'm going to die, like for sure. But it never actually came out to like what my thoughts, it never played out exactly to like what I thought it was going to be, right? It always kind of works out at the end of it, So and this is what we teach is like we have to really kind of analyze, and when our brain starts to go crazy, we have to kind of like quiet it down and be like, okay, I remember last time I thought like this, what was the results of this? Like it's just me giving myself stress. And this is what the enemy does. The enemy just has to distract you. He doesn't have to, I say it all the time, but he doesn't have to like drag you away to hell. He just has to distract you from heaven, and you'll naturally end up there.
Like right now, he's trying to distract this message getting out
Figgity
there.
facts. But yeah, so I
Newsom's
think
California, man. It's going off out there.
seriously.
I have like some like kind of more, like rapid fire, like they're like dumb questions, but I think they would
Ask a
benefit a
bunch.
lot of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
First question.
First of all, he's firing this. I'm just impressed. This is when you're locked in. This
Yeah.
guy's not looked down at a piece of paper or a cell phone. That's what happens when you.
Caesar's like holding up a teleprompter for
Yeah,
him.
yeah. This is what happens when you're
Scroll.
locked in. Your brain is just firing on all
I'm
cylinders.
genuinely like extremely just like passionate about all this stuff.
Daily devotions are back and they're in your email. Every single day I start with the word of God and I share that with you guys so that you can also have the same peace, hope, and happiness that I move forward throughout the day. Every morning I send you a piece of scripture and an explanation to help you with your spiritual walk. There's nothing more powerful than starting your day with the word of God. This quick 2 minutes each morning will set you up for the rest of your day. These are 100% free, so if you want to sign up for the emails, link in the description.
Okay, sort of rapid fire questions for you. Number one, swearing. Swearing's something I struggle with. What do you swear?
Yeah, I do.
But
I
isn't
think
that a sin? Isn't that
technically yes, but I think a lot of people are very legalistic, right? So if you're gonna stop swearing, that's fine, but you gotta make sure to do all of the laws if that's the case. Meaning, don't cut your hair, right? Like, if you're a girl, don't wear makeup. I mean, it's not to say like we could just do whatever we want, but I think we keep the commandments. If you have this mindset of like I have to keep the commandments to be validated by God, to be saved by God. No, we keep the commandments because we're saved, not to be saved, right? So if you have just that mindset, then God understands that there's going to be slip ups. He understands that, our flesh, we're creatures of habit, right? I come from a gang life. Like every other word was a curse word.
Yeah.
I think God understands like, okay, Johnny's going to struggle with certain things. But to be honest, I don't really curse like that, as I used to. I think it's a progressive thing, right? It has to get better. But I think it's a heart intent behind it, because a person can sit there and not swear at all and still have the heart of like, I'm better than you. And I think God cares more about that versus what's coming out of your mouth, right? So again, heart posture.
I think there's a big thing in Christianity where some people get kind of scared of it because they feel like people in this community are going to think sort of that they're better than them. You know what I mean? Like if they're like, well, I'm worried about like going to church or like even like getting into this community because people are going to think that, they're better. Yeah. And luckily for me, like I'm like able to, hang out with Bryce Crawford and I hung out with Forrest Frank. And then you see these people who are like just super nice, just completely normal. Yeah. Like, oh, you want to go surf? Like, there's not, throwing Bible verses at me and like, like if I swear, like, go repent. So it was kind of like good to get into because I was like sort of worried about that in many ways. Yeah. The next thing I want to ask you about is it's been a really big topic because I have a huge audience of young men. And the porn addiction that young men are experiencing is unlike anything I've ever seen. Yeah. And it wasn't really there in the same way it is when we were young. So when we were like really young, it was like Sports Illustrated magazine. Yeah. Okay? True. Now, in today's world, these kids, 12 years old, 13 years old, they basically have a parasocial relationship with an OF girl. Yeah. Or even a porn star. So back in the day, we'd go on like LimeWire and we'd download some like weird like.
Stop looking at me, buddy.
I'm looking right at you, man. You froze your parents' computer. Don't lie. So you'd go on LimeWire. You download
Ryan Apple's house.
Yeah, Ryan Apple's house.
That computer was a virus-ridden.
But for sure. You download like some weird obscure porn movie, right? And like, I'm not saying that can't have negative effects on the brain and stuff, but now, bro, like talking to some of these kids about like this epidemic, they know what the porn star did yesterday. They know her favorite movie. They might think that they're talking to her. They're probably talking to a dude in the Philippines on OF. Right, yeah. But this is where they're at, and I'm like, wow. If I was 12 or 13 years old, I don't know if I would have been able to, overcome that. So, what do you have for people with that? Because it's deep, Johnny. It's not like there's a porn movie. It's like no. They see a girl on Instagram, bro, and they're like, that girl's cute. They click on her profile. And they go, oh, this girl's, let me follow her. Yeah. They follow her for months. They see what she does.
She's doing skits. She's not doing typical porn stuff.
100%.
She's got a great personality.
Cosplay, whatever.
And maybe they start following her when they're 10 years old because they think that she's funny. Yeah. And then once they hit that 12, 13 and their puberty starts raging, they start going, oh, like I can go on this OF and figure this out. So
Yeah. I think that all stems from also like parents, right? At the end of the day, like kids in our church, for example, like we understand like iPads, like just access to the internet, you have to limit it to like a certain
100%.
extent, because what happens is they can search up crazy stuff.
Yep.
And then that's going to affect what you see, think, and feel, right? So number one, it has to be preventative, right? In terms of parents being more just gospel centered. As crazy and cliche as that sounds, like if you just follow the Bible, if you just follow these things, it would teach you how to raise your kids, right? Number two, for the ones who are actively in it, obviously this is something that they have to like turn away, right? And the kids, it's difficult because you don't have self-control at 12, 13 years old, right? It's very difficult, but this is why we need like mentorship. This is why we need community where kids can be themselves and like come to leaders and be like, hey, I struggle with addiction, right? So there's a kid that I was helping out and he was struggling with porn. And, I was telling him, hey, your issue is not porn. And he's like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm looking at Pornhub, I'm doing this, and that. And I'm like, your issue is you have too much time. And he's like, okay. And I'm like, so when you go to the restroom and you take a shower, you know, whatever it is, don't bring your phone with you. Right. And hang out more with community, because you're not going to like be with the pastor. Come after school, come to church, do your studies here, do everything here, because you're not going to bust out your phone in front of your pastor watching like porn. And he's like, And 3 weeks goes by and he comes back up to church and he hugs me. And I'm like, what's going on? I had already forgotten about this, obviously. He goes, I haven't watched porn in 3 weeks. And I'm like, right. So you have to occupy your time as well. And this kid is a kid. He's 13 years
100%.
old, So it's all about, again, like you say, locking in, but having community to support you as well is very important. Not just, and this is where I'm not trying to bash our community, but Christians in a lot of ways will bash people like, oh my gosh, you're doing that. You're horrible. That's a sin. You need to repent. And what that does is actually pushes kids to kind of cope and have these parasocial relationships, because it's easier. They're not getting judged. They're going to be themselves, right? And so you have to give them a platform where it's not enabling, but allowing them to be vulnerable. Be like, hey, I struggle with that. For the fact that the kid can sit there and share that with me means that he was able to be vulnerable enough with me to be like, yo, Johnny, like, Uncle Johnny, right? I genuinely like struggle with this.
That's really good practical advice, though. I
Yeah.
mean, like the saying "idle hands are the devil's playground."
100%.
That's just really true. And I think for a lot of these young kids, like they need to pick up other things to like replace that.
Yeah.
And then you were just touching on something that I want to get into. So like now I've started to see a lot of this like Christian content out there, and I've started to get to know some of these people, and it's been really, really cool for me and really beneficial for me. Because like I'm able to see people who are just cool and I relate to more, talk about the Bible and talk about Jesus.
Yeah.
But then I went to Bryce's show, and he had me out to the San Diego show, and I'm able to meet Bryce, back there. What up, dude? How's it going? And I meet his, I think now fiance, and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? I'm Maddie, and we all like hung out that night. It was great. I go home and I'm on TikTok and I see a dude's video bashing his girl, going Bryce's woman is not godly. She posts herself in a bikini on Instagram, and he starts just going off about basically how evil Bryce and his girl are. And it just made me feel some type of way, because I'm like, this guy doesn't know them. I just hung out with them. I just met them.
Right.
These are great people.
Right.
Like, so, and then I started to sort of read I got, as an anthropologist, like going down these like rabbit holes, I'm like, the comment section was extremely negative. People saying some really horrible stuff. And I don't know. I don't even know what my question is. I just want to know like your thoughts on it as someone in this community. Like, is posting a bikini pic evil? Is posting a shirtless fitness pic not godly? Should I not post my pump pic? Jeremy likes them. He requests them personally. Like,
I'm sure you do.
I print them out.
I'm sure you do like his
as a friend.
I'm
on
sure
my
you
wall.
do,
sporting
buddy.
he's checking out my fitness.
Yeah, they're printed out on my wall.
But would that would that not make me a man of God? Like, is a woman posting a normal like photo in a swimsuit not godly? It's just confusing to me.
Yeah, beautiful question. I think, sadly, people in the Christian community have turned kind of into this like sinners judging other sinners for sinning differently, right? So there's this heart posture of like, I follow according to my standard, and they're comparing horizontally, right? I'm not like Johnny. I'm not like Maddie. I'm not like Bryce. Like we follow God, and there's a lot of this. We're your daddy, like it's it's energy, right? Where it's like, let's say the Catholics and Orthodox, they always say that about Protestants, 1500 years, trust the first church fathers, you guys are, heretics, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of this, right? And it's because people in their hearts, they think that they're good. They think that they're doing better. And rightfully so. There are certain people who probably don't struggle with alcohol, who don't post, who are more, modest in their apparel and stuff like that. But what people fail to realize is the Bible never says to compare horizontally. It says to compare vertically. Right? So if I look at myself and I stand in front of God, and that person looks at themselves and they stand in front of God, both of us fall short of the glory of God, it says, right? And so the enemy works in this way, where he loves to divide and conquer, and he loves to give us the heart posture of, yeah, you're a sinner, but you're not as bad as them. And so therefore you have this righteous judgment and you can judge them. Right. But in John chapter 7:24, Bible verse, right, for those who are watching, it says judge righteous judgment, not outward appearance, but inwardly. So we have to look at the heart, because God says he looks at the heart. A lot of people don't look at the heart. They're like, I don't care about your message. If you're carrying yourself like that, you have a bikini pic or a shirtless pic, you have a Jezebel spirit. And right there, they write you off. Right. And this is a religious spirit. This is a legalism. Right. And so and it's sad because a lot of the community, they don't know, is very works-based. Works-based is I obtain my salvation, I do X, Y, and Z transactionally, and I'm right with God. Whereas that's not what grace is about. Grace, unmerited grace, is whether you did good or not. 2,000 years ago, before you even knew me, I knew you, and I died. I sent my son for you. Right. So it's difficult because in Christianity, we're called to give grace and be merciful because God is merciful. But when you look at the comment section, all negative. Right. And so people have said that about me, too. Oh, Johnny, he says this, and they clip up one little soundbite and be like, this is what he said. Right. Or his tonality, et cetera.
He wears chains.
He wears chains. He's got tattoos. He could remove the teardrop on his face, et cetera, et cetera. But it's like what I've learned in the Bible, Galatians 1:10 is really clear. It talks about if you live for man, you don't please God, right? And you have to live for God and you don't please man. So there is a divide where we have to choose. We all have one common enemy. So what I see is, a lot of comments, at least for me, is like, he has 1 million followers. He has 1 million. Like, people tend to bring up follower count.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And obviously there's a lot of insecurity behind it. But if you tell them that, they're going to harden and get frustrated. Right. I'm not insecure. That's pompous, whatever. But deep down, it's like it's a faith issue. So, for example, if I was a person and I saw that picture, right, how I would think faith-based was I would be thankful. I'd be like, wow, look at Bryce, his girl. They obviously are still, struggling with certain things, let's say, whether it's cursing, to what you're saying, or whether it's dressing a certain way. But look at how God is still blessing them, right? And if God can bless people like that, definitely he can bless people like me. And you would actually congratulate and kind of come together as a community. Whereas people don't see it like that. They're like, why are they getting blessed? And it's this heart of like, God, I don't think they're mad at Bryce and them. I think they're actually, there's like an internal thing between them and God.
Yeah.
I've noticed that, so it's just so many angles to it. But I think genuinely, like, it's just your light is going to disrupt somebody's darkness. And I use this analogy a lot, but essentially they're like, if you guys ever worked with people that are like super lazy, right? There's always that one person at the workforce that's like, that will kind of only work hard when the manager is there. Like if you've held any job anywhere, right? When the manager is there, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of, but like, let's say you're the hard worker. You come to this, workplace and you're the hard worker, and, you'll start to have these people feel intimidated by you, and you're not even trying to do anything. You're literally just doing your job, and they'll start gossiping about you. Oh, this person's a teacher's pet. He's trying to do too much, and etc. It's the same way. When you're sitting there and you're walking with a lot of peace, then you're going to disturb somebody who's chaotic, right? Without even just your presence, right? If you're, you bring light into this world, like you're going to disturb somebody's darkness. I did that with my youngsters. It was never a problem. I would preach the gospel. It was never an issue. But when I started getting famous for it, when, then my youngsters were just like, hey, Johnny switched up. Johnny, look at him. He's got, clothes now. He's doing his own thing. Like, he left us behind. And it took me to sit them down. You guys are watching this, sit them down and do like an OG call and be like, hey guys, look, I love you guys. Like, I'm not sitting here trying to do that. Whatever thoughts you guys have, like, let's address it now, And some of them were honest with me. Yeah, bro, you don't really hang out anymore. You know, is it because you think you're better than us? And it's dialogue at the end of the day, right? But people don't have that when it comes to parasocial. So they're left to their own thoughts of like, oh, they think they're better. Look at them. Okay, Bryce, you think you're so great. You're selling out shows. Well, you know, now it's making them feel like, well, why am I not, you know, in my walk? He's been in his walk 4 or 5 years, let's say. How come I've been a Christian for 10 years? How come I'm not going through that? And it's not really a Bryce issue. It's not even a Maddie issue. It's a, why isn't God working in me? Like it's almost like a jealousy type of thing.
It also seems people in the comment sections in some of these posts, I saw the funniest one, but it was on the topic of basically people making money through Christianity, which I definitely want to ask you about.
Yeah,
it's like people were like attacking Bryce in that same comment section on that type of stuff, and I saw the funniest comment on Forrest Frank's thing. Someone getting upset with him. They said, I've been to Forrest's house. He lives in an extremely modest house. He lives near me. Like he lives like a very modest life.
Brendan's like, he's only got 3 Lambos.
No, he doesn't. He literally
I'm joking.
like he drives like a very normal car. He just walks around barefoot in the town we live in, and like it's like so.
You basically called him homeless.
Honestly, he looks like a homeless dude. Shout out Forrest, love you Forrest, but he just walks around parks like barefoot with his son, like you might think he's homeless. Although he looks good. So the funniest thing is, so I had all this experience, whatever. Then I see this long comment from this guy. He lives in a giant mansion. He's profiting off Christianity, and he's naming a lot of influencers. You were probably on that list of these guys, and I'm like, no, first of all, he doesn't. I like clap back my phone. It's like, what are you talking about? Like, I know this guy.
Yeah.
But how do you make a dime off preaching the gospel?
Sure.
Is that okay? What does the Bible even say about that?
Yes. The Bible, if you read all throughout Corinthians, the Corinthian church supported Paul, and it's okay, right? People think the gospel is free. It is free, but ministry is not, right? The Wi-Fi that we have, you know, the videographers here, the cameras, like these things
30
cost.
employees.
The 30 employees. Literally, we have 30 employees, right? So gospel is free, 100%. You can crack open your Bible. You can, you know, but ministry is not. Like we throw after service events free. People have came. They don't pay us a dime. These churches do not pay us any money. And it's like, you know, it's we have to be able to steward the word, and we use money. Like a true Christian person, a true believer is going to use money to preach the gospel, right? So everything we're doing, from our app build, right, that we're spending hundreds of thousands on, from everything, we're putting all of that back into Christianity, essentially. But again, there are people who never walk this walk. So it's easy for them to sit on the sidelines and go, he's doing this, he's doing that. You know what I mean? And so it's difficult, right? And you know, they'll see like, oh, he has chains. Why does he have chains? They don't even know the backstory to this, right? Shout out Phil the jeweler, San Fernando Valley. You know who you are. Gave it up to me. Was like, here, bro, this is the thing. Like, I appreciate you. Like, I don't know how else I'm gonna like support you. I mean, you can sell them if you want to. Like, that's what it is. So a lot of people don't understand that there's gifting. There's all these different types of things.
Absolutely.
You know, so it's kind of sad that yeah, like it's come to this position of like, if you don't fit my box of what Christianity is, then you are a heretic. And I can judge you for that because somehow I have the Holy Spirit and I'm discerned, right? But that's why God says to study to show yourself approved in the Bible. Because when you see contextually, lexiconically, historically, the churches were always supported by somebody, right? They didn't just like, they had to get the gold from somewhere. They 100%. Had to get the, they had to do it, but people don't care about that. What they see is they kind of blanket their trauma. Well, this church hurt me, and so therefore all of you guys are like that, which is also from the enemy. Because I've gotten bad haircuts, but I don't go all barbers are evil, right? So in this way, they do that to us. It's kind of crazy.
I think some of it comes from like, you know, the mega churches and some of there's been issues like the Kenneth Copeland guy, the really viral video of him.
That's our boy.
They're like, we're doing a show with Kenneth, and he's actually downstairs. I'm like, I guess another question I want to ask you is, do you have to go to church to be godly, to understand Jesus?
Good question. You do not. It's encouraged, obviously, because church is not necessarily a building. It says in the Bible, when 2 or 3 gathered, there I am in the midst of them, right? So fellowship is important. Community is important. Church building and going out there, I mean, it's you can argue both sides, right? Yes and no. For me, it does depend. If you're a person who isolates a lot and you don't really like have guidance, 100% you should be going to church because it's just a way to keep you accountable, et cetera, et cetera. But at the same time, I mean, you can hold church at a house. We work with a lot of house churches. We have people in our own mission have house churches, and there's only 10 members. But man, they move crazier than, they study a lot crazier than some of these mega church people, right? So it just depends on the heart again. But I would say you don't really need to have a church, right? Of course, you should. There's no reason not to go to a church. But also that there's layers to that too. Are you blanketing your hurt and being like, well, all churches are the same, like they did this, so I'm just completely like anti-church, right? That would be wrong too, because you're not operating positionally, at least with the heart of grace. You're just like kind of like making other people pay for other people's mistakes and how they hurt you. So it's just I don't know. It's not a one answer question.
Well, no, I would say the thing that the number one advice you gave to me was you need just a gospel-centered mentor or leader. Of course. Like that is a crucial piece, because for me, it was like, I'd go to church and I'd sit in these services because I was trying to also connect back to my faith. I'm like, this just feels empty. Like the pastor's not really saying anything. It's like a feel-good message. I get the worship is good. And I get these people are happy, but like, it's not really answering the questions that I want. Albeit selfish, but it was just like, it still wasn't giving me that peace. And so then when I met Johnny and I was able to like, he was able to guide me in the right way. Like, I was able to ask all the questions you're asking every single Sunday after church for an hour or two. And that was super helpful. And also, anytime I started spiraling, I was able to call him or our current pastor at the church that we go to. That was absolutely the number one game-changing thing, to have somebody I could pick up the phone, text at any moment, because we just go through it. So I would say the spiritual leader is the right gospel-led spiritual leader is more important than the church. And when I say gospel-led, it's like somebody that truly understands the Bible, because there's a lot of feel-good pastors out there where I would just get like empty advice, and I'm like, all right, this sounds like fluff.
Yeah, 100%.
100%.
This is Johnny who gives the opposite of feel good advice. He tells you how it is.
Hey,
No, but
people don't want to hear that.
You were very nice to me in the come up, and now that I'm like have a deeper relationship with Johnny, I'm like, wow, he was being really nice to me back then, because he's not so nice to me now. But
before you, like, I was like, Jeremy, oh my gosh, Lord.
Yeah, then you pick up and you're like, hey buddy, good to hear from you.
It's 2 a.m. It's okay. No one needs sleep.
Well, now I know. No circadian rhythm is very important.
Yeah, you can't bother him after.
He would mess up my circadian
No, but
rhythm.
I give you the cortisol spike in the morning. That's even more important.
That's a nice thing to do.
So something that you were saying, it was kind of the first question about swearing, and it was something that I also felt with, because it was both sides, right? Like, oh, I'm Christian now, I should behave a certain way. But then also, like what Johnny was saying, it's like, like everybody is on their own path and God will correct it, right? This idea that you have to like live to the law is not how you should be. And that's what stressed me out as well, Christianity. I need to be a certain way because I'm Christian now, and I want people to see me a certain way. So then I went the opposite direction, where I was like, you know what? Like, I'm on my own path. I don't care about what people think. If I swear, I swear. And he would tell me something. He's like, look, like, if it's really on your heart, take it to God. And if God, and when the time is right, God will deal with it. Sounded a little woo-woo to me. But naturally, what I noticed was when I would swear or act a certain way around certain people that were maybe like new to faith or also Christian, and I could see them kind of react in a way, that made me feel bad. I'm like, dang, here I am thinking like, oh, I could just be however I want because God's going to correct it, but it's affecting this person. They might not want to come to church, or they also it might ruin an opportunity for Johnny because I'm behaving this way, that in my head, I'm like, oh, well, God. Yeah. So naturally, it went away.
Yeah, 100%. That's really fascinating you say that, because like when I walk into the back of like Bryce's show and everything, like it was just like naturally in my head of like, it's like, it's Bryce, it's Forrest, it's, there's pastors, and we're gonna, do prayer before he goes out there, and it's like, like I would hate to step in there and be like, what up? Is like, it's just like not like, just ruin everybody's vibe. Yes. You know what I mean? So like naturally I start to be a bit more aware of what comes out of my mouth. Yes. And just kind of see that like, oh, like some of it's just like a natural little impulse, and it gets me aware of it. Yeah.
And I wasn't like stressing. I wasn't like, oh, now I can't swear. I still swear. Like, I'll be honest, like situation happened to me today and I was swearing. But it's no longer that guilt of like, oh my God, I swore and I backpedaled and I'm a terrible person. It's like, all right, I slipped up. Like, and that was the unlock for me, where it's like, I stopped looking at every single action under a microscope of now oh, okay, God, like transactional again.
Yeah.
Took 2 steps back. Like, dude, I drank with a friend last week, right? He just wanted to have drinks. I didn't get drunk. I had a drink, and I wasn't like, oh my gosh, like I've been drinking years, and now I just slipped up again. It's just like I had a drink, move on, right? It's the same thing with you. It's like, have Taco Bell, right? You tried your best in the morning. Okay. All the Taco Bell you ate. I saw you with it down. No. But you know, in general, what you're saying to people, it's like, yo, eat a good breakfast, and if you stumble, you stumble, and like just get back on
100%.
it.
I would never like cast a crazy judgment on somebody if they're like, oh, I just had crumble cookie. Like, yeah, of course, I have my jokes about it and everything, and I would strongly recommend they don't do that. But I'm not gonna freak out at somebody if they have eaten crumble cookie.
Yeah.
And you know, like sometimes people have run up to me for photos and they'll be like holding McDonald's and they get like embarrassed, you know, and they'll be like, oh, like I'm sorry. I'm like, it's all good, dude. Like, it's all good.
I was hiding my plastic water bottle from you in the elevator.
Yeah, he did.
I'm like trying to shove it in my bag.
Well, that's actually crazy because you have unlimited Evian glass for them here, and it's like you couldn't just like, you know, I mean, so you have a plastic addiction. You're addicted to microplastics. We'll address that later. You know, but yeah, I feel like it's like a similar thing with Christianity. Of like, I've met luckily all these people. Like my buddy Cole Hossman's like a pro skater. He's super involved with the church and everything. And like, luckily I've met people that are super cool, just like really cool. They're not going to be here to judge me. You know, it's like the thing of like someone comes up to me and they're holding McDonald's like, oh, but I still want to like say hi to you and stuff. It's like I hold some of that with my friends who are super Christian, where it's like, you know, I swear, and they're like, well, what are you doing like Sunday? And I'm like, you know, I like church like wasn't in my plan. And it's like, instead of like judging me like I've worried that they would, people are just like, I don't know, man. They're just like really cool. And I feel like that type of energy gets me more stoked about exploring my faith further than judgment.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that go the other way, right? Like where they do judge and they almost have this good intention where it's like, I'm going to break if I have to break your arm to save you, I'm going to do it. Right. And so that's something that's very difficult for people to navigate as well. Right. I get a lot of questions of like, well, how do I know if this judgment is, you know, a judgment or if it's constructive or if it's just like manipulative. Right. Some people do that. So for me, it's kind of like I've learned that it has to be Christ centered. It's like if this person is saying something to me and like, because not all observation is judgment, right? Sometimes if for example, a person is a pathological liar and you call them a pathological liar, that's not a judgment, right? That's a truth claim, right? So people have to realize like, is this thing kind of constructive? Is it building people up? That's important.
Yeah.
But people don't do that nowadays. They just go off of emotion. Well, I seen him do that and he cursed. Okay, he's bad. And they just like let you know. And it actually breaks you down and almost doesn't want you, like you don't want to go to church after that, right? You don't want to be around people like that. So, you know, we have to be cautious about that too.
For sure.
There's a lot of things also you did in my early spiritual walk that I realized like, oh, you weren't saying certain things to me because I wasn't ready for it.
Yes.
And because of that, I was like more accepting of I was more willing to hear the harsh stuff when it really came down to it. Cause I'm like, he never judged me in the beginning. So when he's correcting me now, I know it comes from a good place, not from a place of judgment. So people want this formula of like, oh, as a Christian, how do I correct people or whatever? It's like, sometimes it's just like, yo, just be a human. Just like, let people be vulnerable around you, and you don't have to like do what they do, and you don't have to be all weird about it. Like, let's say you're hanging out with us and you're like, oh, you want beers? And then it's like, we're like, no, you don't have to feel weird about it. We don't have to either. And over time, it's like, you'll just be like, okay, like you said, these are normal people. I could share things around them. And that's really kind of where the relationship grows.
100%.
I think also with the point that I saw with both of you guys when you brought up like just being in a room and like being a little more situationally and spiritually aware, that's actually like, I would say is Christ-like. Right. So like it comes from thinking about other people. Right. So I always tell my community, you guys have to think about others, because if we're in a room and we're by ourselves and it's not our friends, we'll curse, we'll do whatever we want for ourselves. Right. It's similar to like when I mentored like this lady and she was a straight up like drug addict. Right. She did a lot of like Percocet. She was a popper. So she popped a lot of pills. But as soon as she got pregnant, she stopped. And we were struggling for like 3 months with her. I was trying to help her and she's like, I just popped again and I'm messing up and I don't know how to stop it. And like every time I feel lonely, I just pop. I don't want to feel this. I numb the pain. But then as soon as she got pregnant, like she stopped automatically. And she asked me like, why was that? And I'm like, because you're now starting to think about other people versus yourself.
Yeah.
Like if it's for you, you're gonna be like, why wouldn't, like, this feels good, why would I stop that? You know, but now you're like, okay, it can affect and harm a baby, and that's my baby, and if I love them, I wouldn't do that. So in the same way, this is kind of what Jesus did for all of us, right? Was like, yes, there's going to be people who bash me. Yes, there's going to be people who don't believe in me. Yes, they're going to mock me. Yes, there's, you know, people who don't care essentially and go against me. But like he thought about us on the cross. And so that's what it means to also be Christ-like, is to sit there and go, man, like I have my ideas and my opinions, but what about them? Like thinking about somebody else, I think that's very almost scarce in the world nowadays too. Everyone's very me, I, main character energy. In Christianity, I've learned at least to be like, let me think about, you know, what's Jeremy's heart? Like if I say this, how would it affect him, et cetera, et cetera. Whereas before, I didn't care. I'm going to say what I want to say. You know, I was a gang member. I did whatever I wanted, thought however I wanted, and all that. So it's kind of cool to be able to be like, that's how you know you have the Holy Spirit. That's how you know that God is with you, because you're doing things like even on a small level that you don't even realize that's natural now, but you wouldn't do before though, right? So
Wow.
Yeah. Wow.
That's a great point.
yeah.
I hold back things all the time now just to not harm Jeremy. I'm like, how is this going to affect Jeremy? Just kidding.
I got a silly question.
Tell me.
You know the game FMK?
Yeah.
I'm going to name 3 people.
Okay.
So Paul Saladino, Liver King, Brian Johnson.
So we're going F, Mary,
Yeah.
Saladino, Liver King, Brian Johnson.
Yeah.
Wow, this is an amazing question.
Yeah, I had to
'Cause
carefully
I've
think
hung
this
out
up.
with 2 out of 3 of them. I've spent time with Liver King, and I've spent time with Saladino.
Cool.
F Liver King for sure.
Oh, well, you like big muscly guys.
He's he's insane. Liver King will tell you he's insane. So like, he's just the craziest person I've ever been around in many ways. Like he is a whirlwind of energy.
Insane energy. Does that come from all the tests? Seems like test is a good idea.
Dude, I mean, he is on a lot of stuff, and he will mainly just test and growth hormone. But like, yeah, the dude's just crazy, bro. Like we were sitting down at dinner at his house, and he signs off for dinner. Basically, he says actually a prayer. The prayer is on YouTube. It was a long prayer. Yeah, it's a very long, winding prayer. And he goes, Liver King out. Then he points to his son, and his son goes, Striker the Barbarian out. And he goes to the other son. The other son goes, Rad the Barbarian out. And then it goes to my videographer, Albert. And Albert, not Caesar. Caesar wasn't there. You still have to do the Barbarian. So Albert goes, Albert the Barbarian out. And Liver King freaks out. He goes, oh, once it's said, it must be done. He starts flipping over plates of steak. He's losing. He's like, and we're like, what just happened? What are we talking about? Like, is this dude having like a manic episode? We're worried about that, right? And he goes, once you call yourself Albert the Barbarian, you have to attempt the Barbarian workout. And we're like, we don't have our phones. We can't like look up anything. We go, okay. Like, and he's like, tomorrow it will be attempted. And we go, what? And then it goes to my buddy, big wave surfer, Savage.
Yeah.
Tanner the Barbarian out. Liver King starts freaking out. He goes, what? It goes to my next friend, Austin the Marine. What do you think a guy named Austin the Marine's going to do? He's going to go, Austin the Barbarian. It goes to me, same thing. He's freaking out at this point. We Google on our phones after. The workout is you take 2 70-pound kettlebells. You put on a backpack with 70 pounds. You have to attach shoulder straps that are attached to a sled that is 120 pounds on a 65-pound sled. You take 2 20-pound ankle weights, attach them to yourself. You have to go 1 mile. You can only walk while you're holding the kettlebells. And we all accomplished it. It took my videographer over 4 hours. It took me 3 hours. It took my buddy, pro big wave surfer, trained for 100-mile races, elite athlete. It took him 2 hours. It took my buddy Austin the Marine like 2.5. It was the most brutal thing ever. But because that guy's so crazy, yeah, F Liver King. I don't want to get back at him. Putting me through a brutal workout.
Well, I don't know.
For sure, marry Saladino.
Okay.
Although he's a bit crazy, he's a bit neurotic, he's highly intelligent. I can have good conversations with Saladino. I disagree with some stuff that he does, but the kill is obvious. Kill Brian Johnson.
Wow.
He's plant based.
It's impossible to kill him.
Yeah, he
It's
doesn't die.
impossible to
He's
kill
immortal.
him.
He's immortal.
Yeah.
He doesn't go in the sun. He thinks the sun is bad. It's funny. One of the things that clearly like align my faith and like my belief in God is nature. Like there's no way. You look at some of the stuff. You drive through Big Sur. Like that can get everybody like there's no way.
Yeah.
This is just so random.
Or just
it's
how-
funny. It's funny. Real quick. It's funny. Everyone believes in the Big Bang, the science community, like that miracle. Like believe in the Big Bang. That's science. But Jesus died on the cross for your sins, and he was resurrected. That's
Yeah, that's
like you to believe in what's around you, you have to believe in some type of miracle, right?
Sure, yeah.
But the miracles that were written about over and over again by different people, confirmed by different folks, like 400 people said they saw Jesus. Don't believe in that.
Yeah.
But believe in the Big Bang. It's crazy. It's So that's my F, Marry, Kill. That's a wild one. You a freak.
You are. You want Liver King. No. But why is it that all these super health nuts are a little crazy? Are you going to turn, like, you seem the most normal out of the three.
I feel like a lot of young, like, men and stuff, and just, like, a big audience that I have, like, I am a health nut, but I think people don't view me as crazy as these dudes. I don't know, man. I've been through it. Like, I've lived, like, a relatively, like, normal life. I don't think any of those dudes lived how we were just talking about in high school. Like, I developed a little drug addiction, and I wasn't healthy. And I've sort of been through it, so I kind of get where people are coming from, and I'm able to level with them. And I definitely am strict in my own diet and in my own exercise regimen, and I show everything I do, try to be super honest about it. But I'll film a video going to In-N-Out. Well, okay, what's the healthiest thing I can get at this In-N-Out? I did a video with FaZe Rug where we go to all these fast food locations, and I try to order the healthiest thing there. Some of the places,
that video was hilarious.
There's just like no options, some of the places. But I'm just trying to let people be the healthiest they can be and dip their toe into the water of health, because I know that it is something that will just benefit their life in so many ways. So I want to get everybody in.
You guys have a lot of similarities. I think it's the approachability, it's the relatability, and the digestibility.
I think it's the actionability. Like, both of you guys really let people apply it to their real lives. Because at this
practicality.
point, at this point, people have been awake to the health for a little bit. It's like, sometimes your videos aren't necessarily discovering something new, but it's helping me realize how important it is. It's like, I know Flamin' Hot Cheetos are bad. Did not need you to tell me that. But when you explain it and break it down as to why and how, here's the alternatives, here's what you should do instead, here's what you don't need, it's like, that's the real thing that you guys, I think, share, is the application.
100%. People always roast my videos where I go up to people at the grocery store, offer them $100 to quit soda, or I stand up in front of a crumble cookie, I give them $100 to quit crumble cookie, and people will just spam my comments with, that person's going to get soda later, that person's going to get crumble cookie later. Well, guess what? I have thousands of messages of people going, I saw that video, and I did not even realize that I was drinking all this soda. It breaks through the algorithm because they go viral.
1,000%.
You have the exact same thing happen. Like you just said, the similarities. Like people will see your videos, and it's like, if you have a video with millions of people watching it, did every one of those people start reading the Gospels and give their life to Jesus Christ? No. Right. But you don't care. You care that maybe one person did.
Yeah.
100%. And that happens.
Yes.
And that's what fuels us. It's like, I'm making these videos not for that person right there to quit soda on the spot. They might go back to that addiction. They might do that. But somebody's going to see that. It's going to turn that light on inside of them. It's going to make real change.
That's biblical too. Honestly, heaven rejoices over one person getting saved. It's like the 99 and the 1, right? So it's cool that he says it. That's like, it's wild.
Every day I walk in the grocery store, I hope Santa Cruz is in the soda aisle, so I get that $100.
Watch after this, he's gonna be like, "Let's go into this grocery store." He comes back like fake mustache.
But I would love that $100. Where can people find? What grocery stores are you around? You're in the same.
You might find me in a Walmart. You might find me outside of Crumble Cookie. Yeah, people can find me at Santa Cruz Medicinals on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram.
The products, where do they get the products?
Yeah, the company is Santa Cruz Paleo. Amazon, honestly, is like the best place to get them. You get like that one-day delivery. Yeah. Jeff Bezos doing work. Or our website, Santa Cruz Paleo. And I tell people, start with basic health. Like, don't take supplements. And luckily, I run the company just with one other buddy. I can say this. I don't have investors that are going to text me after this. Don't start with supplements. 100%. Like, you need to dial in basic diet, eat more real food. You need to dial in your sleep. You need to dial in some basic exercise, start moving. Once you dial those things in, start to layer in some good supplements.
What I would say, though, is one thing that I would start with immediately of your products is the electrolytes. It makes hydrating. Game changers. With working out, just drinking them in the morning, it's better than coffee. Yeah. It is 100% better than coffee.
I'm sipping on peach right now. Yeah, I mean, they help people drink more water, for one. Like, that's a huge thing. I mean, it's so basic, but sometimes people need that, like, cue to start drinking more water. Then if you are an athlete of any sort, future Muay Thai world champion, striking game is getting complex, you never know. You want to be hydrating properly. Yeah, there's so many things. Magnesium, like you take some magnesium in the evening. If you can't get total body sun exposure, start taking some vitamin D. Creatine is an amazing. There's some supplements that 99.9% of doctors agree on nowadays. This isn't this world of 30 years ago of supplements are bad. Yeah. And I would say those are like vitamin D, creatine, magnesium, vitamin C, electrolytes if you're physically active. Those
Lots
are a
of
game
protein.
changer. Yeah, and protein is amazing. You can start with real food, but protein powder, I mean, we're all on the go. I drank a protein shake on my way here because it's like, yeah, it's just the easiest thing to do.
I take them on the road. When we go travel now, I carry a bag with me.
Yeah, he does.
And
Dude, we're coming out with a protein bar in probably February.
Ooh,
and
right.
it has taken years of R&D and just like work into it. All real food protein bar. It tastes absolutely delicious. We're stoked.
the thing that I really trust you on is that, like, again, no investors, and it's not all about, like, Brendan doesn't run paid ads. He does everything from the
All
goodness of
organic,
his heart. They're good priced, and the thing is, like, because you're taking the products, like David protein bars are super popular, but they use that weird EPG.
Yeah, I just had somebody come to me yesterday. I was talking about the protein bar thing. They're like, I like the macros in David, but I'm getting intense stomach pain. I'm like, probably ditch those. I'm like, I'm not here to hate on David bar. If they help you hit your macros, cool. But like, people really got to start to think about how they feel. Like, do an assessment on how you feel.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that's big, man.
True.
Get in touch with how you feel as a human being. That's gonna level up your health, and it's also gonna level up your faith for sure.
Facts.
And the thing is, a lot of people are impatient about it too. But even the simplest things of, like, what he's saying, like sleep well and just hydrate, you'll notice in a couple of days you'll feel different. You'll be like, why am I not tired? Why am I not crashing in the afternoon? Things like that.
And then again, I just gotta say, one of the reasons I'm here today is because I did everything to sleep right. And if you don't have faith, there's gonna be nights where you're up with no answer.
Yeah.
And I've been there. And I mean, we all will continue to be.
Sure.
But at least I know that it's not I need a little bit, I don't need 100 more milligrams of theanine.
Yeah.
Like, I need prayer. I need something deeper. You know, and everybody needs that at different times in their life. And that is a big part of health. So that's one of the big reasons I'm here today. These things, it's not like, oh, they tie in directly with each other. It is the same thing. It's just like this term mental health that people say. The brain's up here, and then there's your other part of health. They are one. They're one thing. And so, yeah, it's really important.
Yeah.
Hey, now you have the calling card. Call him at 2 a.m. next time.
Let's go.
Yeah.
Next time you're tossing and turning.
Yeah.
Wait, what was your silly question?
Oh, it's really silly. I don't want to
Yeah,
follow
ask
up
it.
that meaningful
No,
thing
no.
there. Well, for
No,
one,
no,
you're
go
super
for it.
well spoken. It's funny, like, how kind of media trained you are. Like, you can kind of slide an ad in. It's super clean. Like, I like it. But your questions, even to Johnny, were really good, really thought out. Like, the audience is gonna love it. So I'm
Yeah.
just curious, like, your content background. Were you making videos as a kid? Because, like, being into health is one thing, but how did you unlock, like, these viral ideas?
I found something that I'm actually truly
Passionate about.
passionate about.
Yeah.
Love
And
that.
on and off camera, you can ask Caesar. It's like people come up to me on and off camera. I'm helping my friends with their health. I'm genuinely obsessed with this. And I think it was God's grace that I got obsessed with this. This wasn't who I used to be.
100%.
I feel like I used to be different. I wasn't obsessed with health. Like, into some stuff. Like, I wanted to lift weights and like be good at sports and stuff. And then, I don't know, man, a light bulb switch hit me when I was at UC Santa Cruz studying anthropology, where we started to study like tribes, different hunter-gatherer tribes, and they have amazing health. They have their issues of, if they get a cut, like they can get infected and stuff, and high infant mortality. But we looked at all these images in a medical anthropology class, and I'm like, these people are jacked. They look good. There was a tribe that didn't have a word. I was like struggling with like skin issues back then, and you can look up Kitava tribe. This anthropologist went out and lived with this tribe, the Kitava Islands, and he was a dermatologist. Anthropologist, dermatologist, really amazing guy. Google that, people. He said they didn't even have a word for acne. Didn't have a word for it. And so then it got me interested, like, what? Like, oh, wait, so eating more real food will help my skin? It was a vain start to this health journey in a way. And then, oh my God, my skin cleared up. Well, what else is there? And it just sent me down a rabbit hole of health. And I started to feel amazing. I want others to feel that way, just like you do. You found something that actually helps you.
Facts.
If you don't go and tell people about that, then you're evil.
Yeah.
So
100%.
I'm obsessed with it. So you're like, oh, you have these questions and stuff. I don't have anything written down.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm obsessed.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. It reminds me of a time. It feels like it probably felt like you discovered a superpower. You're like,
100%.
I just found this thing that helps so much. Not only am I going to dedicate the rest of my life to figuring out everything there is to know, but I'm going to tell everyone else everything I'm figuring out.
Yeah.
And I think anyone who's ever been obsessed with something has had that moment where they're like, this is a superpower. I need to dedicate my life to figuring this
Yeah.
out. So it's really crazy to see
You
that
also
manifest in
have to get over the people that try to stop you.
Yeah,
That's
that's
that
huge
right
fact.
there
You have
is
to-
so
you know,
big.
like there are so many people that try to stop you. Like,
Yeah.
can you just not talk about health right now?
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, my mom, I love my mom, but like she wanted a more set out life for me. Like, no, why don't you're gonna start your own company? Why just not? You gotta go for something safe.
Yeah.
You gotta you don't know. Sometimes you have to, push back a bit and really find like what you want deep, in your soul
100%.
and go after it.
100%. He said it best. He said, I think it was the grace of God, right? So, because a lot of people will have that mindset and try to go and do it, but like they just fall short. So I think God also held you through everything, which is really cool. And this is also really good for the viewers because a lot of them have that type of mentality where it's like, okay, Johnny, I want to do the passionate things that I want, but like also be serving God. You're kind of living proof of that. So that's
Yeah.
really, really cool. you know?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I think
Facts.
helping people get healthy is, it makes me feel so good. It fills my cup every single day.
Amen.
And,
It's fire.
I just love that. So,
I'm
yeah,
sure you get a lot of DMs of people being like, "Hey, your advice like changed my life."
absolutely. Oh yeah, I have people running up to me. I get the DMs, and I also put in the work of putting boots on ground, like you do, and traveling around and talking to people face to face. You don't have to do that.
Right.
You don't have to meet people for 4 hours. Like when I do my meetups, like I meet every single person, and like I'll talk to them, and it's because we have that passion. There's no like that stuff doesn't get filmed. That stuff that's just because you genuinely care.
Facts.
So yeah, I
So
love
facts.
that. Yeah, thanks for having me, guys. I really appreciate it.
We gotta have the part two.
Seriously.
Let's do it. Dude.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Here, you want to hear my ridiculous question?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh,
Are there actually benefits to sunning your balls?
It's funny. There are benefits to sunning your balls. Now, it gets crazy where people are like, naked at a public beach trying to sun their balls. Don't do that. But we just had
Santa Cruz said I could.
Yeah, Santa Cruz told me to go outside naked, like walking around downtown LA naked. You probably could. Newsom's California. You can
There's
walk around
health
naked.
benefits.
end of clip right there. You said it.
But we just had that Dr. Abood Bakri, MD, on, and one of the things he was talking about is like a UV light device for your balls or sunlight, same type of UV light. And it's anecdotal, a lot of the research now, but he's like, he does his labs like every week, and he's like, I notice an increase in testosterone.
But don't you do it too?
Oh yeah, I'm out in the sun
But
naked
so,
all the time.
hey, but question.
Yeah,
what's
you get my weekly photo of me
what's
out there.
yeah, hey, what's the position?
Wait,
No, so you just need to be just naked in the sun.
Oh,
Your
got it,
balls
got
are
it.
gonna get sun.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
maybe his balls are really tiny, so he has to get a unique
I got
position.
the beach.
That's
I got
what
the
he's trying to
seed
say.
oil
My
balls.
balls are so low that they just get sun anywhere. You know what I
Okay,
mean?
it's like
they're
two
like
soccer
planets.
balls.
Yeah, they got their own
Oh my
orbit and
God.
stuff.
Yeah. Okay.
But get outside in the sun naked, and you'll level up your health. Yep.
He's on his Adam routine. Just like, guys, it's biblical.
His neighbors are like, "Oh, there's our neighbor Brendan."
There's that health freak.
Yeah.
Check out the benefits.
I love
Dude,
it.
that's so funny. Oh my God.
All right. Well, now we're about to go have a locked-in meal. You'll see.
Let's do it. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Yeah,
Yo,
you'll see.
Can we do something a little different and
Yeah.
have him pray out?
Whoa, are you?
Is he comfortable?
Are you comfortable with that? Because he said Liver King prayed.
Oh,
Yeah,
Liver
yeah, but-
King's prayer
But
was
yeah, I'm sure
wild.
it's not gonna be like that. But you can, however long you need, whatever's on your heart, bro. You can. Pray.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm totally down.
And then arm wrestle. I want to see you guys arm wrestle after.
Dude, this guy's jacked, bro. Did prison chin-ups and stuff.
It's all
yeah.
water weight.
I'm absolutely down.
Alrighty.
God, I want to thank you for gathering us here today. I want to thank Jeremy, Johnny, and everybody in this room for being here. And thank you for helping me spread the message of health. Health is everything combined, as we talked about today. It's not just what you put into your body, but it's what you put into your mind. It's your thoughts. It's your faith. And thank you, God, for helping me get this message out into the world. And thank you, Johnny, for making Jesus more approachable. I think that's really been an absolute godsend for so many people, making Christianity and having faith more approachable and more understandable. So God, just continue to bless Johnny and his whole team in spreading that message. And Jesus, I also want to ask you to just continue to help people realize real health, because it's so important Every thought you have is influenced by your health. So thank you, God, for helping us spread this message today. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Sheesh, man.
Thank you.
Pastor
Well done.
Bren.
Let's
Pastor
go, dude.
Brendan, dude.
Yeah.
Watch out, man. I'm coming for you, man.
Thank you.
No, yeah, like that's like a rant. I mean, but like how to pray. I think it was either Forrest or Bryce. I'm like, dude, there's no how to pray.
Yeah. Yeah.
How to
facts.
like yeah, he's like, yeah, when I do it, it sounds all cool and stuff.
Sure,
and like
sure.
those guys, like, yeah, there's a bit of like there's a bit of a sing song with it, which is
Sure.
beautiful, and it helps it be absorbed, right?
buzzwords.
Yeah, it helps it be
Right.
absorbed, and but it's just like you just take a breath and get into that sort of different space,
Facts.
and like say what's on your mind. So yeah, it's been cool.
Also, I
100%.
think the authenticity.
Yep.
It's way better. Like if
Yeah.
you feel the authenticity in your prayer.
Absolutely stoked, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate you guys. So
Guys,
much.
if you
That was
made
fun.
it this far, please leave a like, subscribe, comment. What was your favorite part of the video? What do you want to know? Questions for Santa
Absolutely.
Cruz?
Ask me questions below. Any health questions that you have, specific supplements, foods. Let's dive into it.
We'll put all his links in the description so you
Yep.
can find his
Check
amazing
out his
stuff. Yeah,
podcast.
check out everything
Yes.
and level up your mind, your body, and your soul.
Facts.
We'll see you next time.
Thank you all.
Peace.
Peace.